All right, Gavin, I got you on one side, and I got my scripts and stuff on the other side, so we'll work through this together.
Cooperating, so I'm going to send you a new one right now.
Door again.
Just prop this open. Any more chairs? All right. Normally this kind of keep up there. Okay, let me get this guy so you quick countdowns for you. 5 to 1.
Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. How's it going?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
No, I'm going to have to be like super descriptive for this thing.
You guys ready to go in like 60 seconds? Yep. Get thumbs up above.
He's not in the Zoom anymore. I don't know if he wants to rejoin.
Fonzo says he can't see you.
Make sure when it starts.
All right, he's going to you.
There he is.
Oh, say, do you want a pair of headphones so you can hear him?
Yeah, if you have those.
Just take these.
Okay. Thank you.
I think I have another pair, but I'll just do it slow down.
Talk real quick, Brandon.
You got me. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
All right, Gavin, I can hear you in my headphones. Anytime you need to give me a cue, feel free to just shout it out. My bad, Gavin. Say that one more time. I'm sorry. My bad, Gavin. Say that one more time. Good evening from Freedom High School Stadium in Orlando, Florida, where today Light 106.9 presents Warriors football. It's Delaware Valley taking on Moseley High School alongside Brandon Daniels. I'm Alfonso McCree Jr. It's a pleasure to have you all with us tonight. Gavin Burt and a wonderful cast of characters are in our Light 106.9 studios. Thank you for joining us for the Milford Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram countdown to kickoff. The weather for tonight's game is probably, as you guys know, a lot of rain, a lot of lightning, but it seems all of that is past, and we have what maybe you could call clear skies, as clear as they're probably going to get for the rest of the night. But Brandon, it's time for our fun fact of the night, so go ahead with it.
Well, Alfonso, the last time Delaware Valley played here in Orlando was back in 2017. They defeated the Central Cobras 19-14, led by senior quarterback Nick Riley's 255 passing yards, along with a touchdown. Senior running back Ryan Obizo rushed for 101 yards with a touchdown in that game as well. That 2017 team went far before losing to State College in the playoffs They finished with a 12-1 record. Delaware Valley plays here in Orlando every 3 years, but due to the pandemic, of course, the game in 2021 was canceled.
Thanks, Brandon. You know, they've had success here in the 3 games that they've played. They're 2-1, a 2011 victory against Island Coast, a 28-27 loss to University in 2014, and of course that 2017 win versus Central, and now they're back here to take on Moseley. Now, normally the games are played at Disney's Wide World of Sports, but it was moved here this year to Freedom High School, so this will be a bit of an adjustment, but nothing that these two teams can't handle. We'd like to remind our listeners that this evening's broadcast is made thanks to our wonderful sponsors. Kickoff is set for about 7:30 p.m., so we're about 11 minutes out. Between now and then, we have plenty to bring you. Or actually, they're going to start in about 28 minutes, forgive me. So we have plenty of time to bring you guys extra material that we have lined up for you. We'll preview this matchup. We'll hear from head coach Keith Alsamer and captains Aiden Black and Paulie Weinrich. And we'll have the keys to victory for both sides. It's Delaware Valley versus Moseley High School right here on Light 106.9. We'll be right back. Yes, I can. Yep, I can hear you. No, you're all good. Live radio, man. It's hectic. Okay, gotcha. This is the coach interview, right? That I'm leading into. Okay, and do you want me to go straight to a break after that interview is done again, or? Okay, cool.
I was just listening.
Oh, yeah, you can take one.
Yeah, I was
I'm
just gonna
talking
take.
to
Yeah,
him.
yeah, don't worry about it. Just in breaks, just want to know.
Okay.
When do you want to hear? We definitely should. Yeah.
So we were able to catch up with head coach Keith Alsamer earlier this week. Let's take a listen to what he had to say.
Make sure you visit the concession stand. Vote today is
You told me that you're going to be in the end zone. Where's your brother?
Sir. Sir.
That was the Delaware Valley head coach, Keith Alsimer, joining us for the Milford Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram countdown to kick off Coaches Conversation. Still to come, we'll take a further look at tonight's matchup. You're listening to live coverage of Delaware Valley Warriors football right here on Light 106.9. Welcome back to Light 106.9. Now, earlier this week, we had an opportunity to talk to two special players for this Delaware Valley High School football team. The two captains, Aiden Black and Paulie Weinrich. Here's what they had to say this week. That'd be fine if you want to do that. Okay.
What's our plan here? What's our plan here?
She's just going to play the two interviews back to back.
Okay.
And then once they're done, we'll send to one more commercial break.
And then we'll come back out to finish it out. We'll probably have, like 6 minutes?
Probably more than that. These interviews are short. It's like 15.
Okay. Got the Moseley band out here. Traveling in packs. Shout out to Alto Sax gang. Respect. That's where we're at here. You know the craziest part? I used to be one of those fucking nerds. I used to be one of those nerds.
Which ones?
Would be I was a band kid. I was a band kid back in the day.
Those are the best guys in the world.
I mean, right here, obviously. But it's fun stuff.
Like you guys had like your own two-a-days, didn't you?
I mean, we had game day just the rest of the
radio station. Sounds good. Listen to radio station.
Yeah.
Your returns are a little long. So I don't know if you want to go a little earlier than what you're queuing, but it sounds great.
Cool. So, and we'll talk about it in the break, but basic plan for this. I'll follow your lead, but no worries. I have everything I need, so
Okay.
definitely talk about the weather as a factor.
Yeah,
and everything like
we'll
that.
start with that.
Okay.
And then we'll go into our key players for both
Okay.
of us.
Okay.
Take our time.
Yeah. We'll go back and forth on those.
Next on the pregame, we'll break down tonight's matchup, including this weather, Brandon. My goodness.
Yeah.
This is the Milford Chrysler Countdown to Kickoff show. We have about 16 minutes to game time right here on Light 106.9. Welcome back to Light 106.9 with about 15 minutes before kickoff. We're going to get into the details of what this game has to offer. Welcome back to the microphone, Brandon Daniels. Brandon, this weather has been absolutely insane. I mean, even driving over here to the stadium, we could barely see out of the windshield, but now it looks like the game is going to go ahead and go forth. How is that going to affect tonight's game, though?
Well, weather finally cleared up. As we know, Florida weather, very unpredictable. But what I'll say for this game, it's an all-grass field, so that it's going to be a little sloppy out there. Conditions are going to be a little sloppy. There is no rainfall, but the conditions are still sloppy. I think this is going to be a run-first game. I mean, I think Moseley, they're warming up with a lot of run plays. I saw some drops in the past plays in practice. Obviously, that's not a predicament of what's going to happen in the actual game, but I think this is a run-first game for both teams.
I mean, you definitely make a good point because watching the warm-ups here on the field, it does look like they're practicing a lot of runs. Delaware Valley running a lot of pass drills right now. We're seeing receivers, the ball slip through their hands because these conditions are just so nasty out here today. We don't even know if this is the last rain that we'll have, but hopefully it's the last Lightning.
And it's not a matter of if the receivers can or can't catch the ball. We know these players can catch the ball, but anytime the ball's going to hit the ground, it's going to get slippery, and it's hard to dry that ball off. So again, I think it's a run-first game. We see a lot of short passes for Delaware Valley. I think that's going to hold to their advantage if they can switch up between the run and those short pass plays. But yeah, this is not the last we'll see of the rain. I think the radar shows some rain in about half an hour. We'll see if that comes true because, again, Florida weather, as we know, very unpredictable. But I think this is the weather is going to hold a huge factor in this game.
And honestly, obviously, God forbid any of this happens, but there has to be some type of injury risk as well with a field that's this wet. Like you said, it's a grass field; it's not turf, so a lot of the dirt coming up out of the grass here. These players are going to have to be very careful out here today,
Definitely.
or the results could be catastrophic. But you know what? The weather hasn't stopped the stands from just filling up today. I mean, we have a packed house right in front of us. There's a lot of school spirit for both sides. Both fan bases traveled extremely well, and hey, why not? It's Orlando.
Of course. I mean, I see the Moseley band over there. They're getting hyped for their team. Delaware Valley, no shortage of fans themselves. This is a packed crowd. This is going to be an electric atmosphere. Rain or not, I think this is going to be a great game to watch.
Absolutely. And let's talk about some of these key players. Now, we talked to Coach earlier this week, obviously. He named a few players that he was looking for to have a big impact on this season. And a couple of them are captains, Aiden Black, Paulie Weinrich.
Right. We just heard from them earlier before we got back from the break. We'll start with Weinrich, Captain Paulie Weinrich. He's been one of the leaders for this team. Obviously, as a captain, he is. Last season, 6.5 yards per carry, and he had 12 rushing touchdowns. I mean, this is the guy that you depend on, especially in a game like this. He's your leader. He's your captain. And in sloppy conditions like this, I think he's going to have a big one tonight.
And let's talk a little bit about Ryder Machado. I mean, that name right there screams I was born to play football anyway. But what kind of things can we expect from Ryder here tonight?
Well, I think Ryder's going to be kind of the unsung hero of this game. I think he's a guy that is going to come up in spots. As a sophomore last year, had a very solid game on the ground, 5 touchdowns last year. He had a 100-plus yard game last season as well. Again, 6 yards per carry. These guys can run for a lot of yards per carry. I think that's going to be a big one here. And I think that tandem of having Weinrich and Ryder Machado is going to be huge for this team.
Absolutely. And then you have a player like Aiden Black who plays both sides of the ball, tight end and defensive end. Obviously a leader on this team as he was picked as a captain. He's not really big on talking, though. He strikes me as the type of person that's going out there and leading by example with his play on the field, Brandon.
Well, yeah, he doesn't talk a lot. He doesn't show a lot of his size when he talks, but he's definitely big, 6'3", 235 as a junior. I was definitely not that as a junior. I was probably 150 pounds wet, so a little bit different here. But, again, both sides of the ball, this is a guy that you trust in on both sides of the ball. I mean, through the air, had 4 touchdowns and 373 receiving yards. And then on defense, he was lighting people up. 47 total tackles last year in 13 games. As we just saw, I think we just saw a little bit of lightning, so we have to keep an eye on that. However, Aiden Black, one of the stars of this team, I think he's going to have a big one tonight. And again, a guy you can depend on both sides of the ball.
Absolutely. And then we take a look at the Moseley side. Now, this is a very quality side on the football field. They already played their first game of the season. Back on Friday, August 19th, they played Rutherford over at Tommy Oliver Stadium, and they won that one 42-6 on the road. So obviously traveling doesn't really have a big effect on them. They've traveled all the way down here to Orlando. What can we expect from them? What players do we need to watch?
Okay, there's a player that I definitely want to – I think Delaware Valley definitely needs to take a look at. I'm sure they know all about this guy, Randy Pittman, a senior. He is a tight end and defensive end. To say nothing else, this man is built different. I mean, this guy is all over the place. He had 17 rushing touchdowns last year, 21 total touchdowns on offense. He also had 40 pancake blocks, and he also had a couple interceptions, a couple tackles for loss. He was everywhere.
What does it do for your team when you have a player like that that's willing, not only willing, but able to play every single side of the ball at a high level?
There's so much confidence that you get from a player like that. You say, hey, let's just do what Randy does. Let's do what Randy does. It doesn't matter what position you play. There's just a natural confidence that builds when a guy's making plays all over the place. This is definitely somebody that Delaware Valley needs to keep an eye out on because, again, he plays everywhere and he makes plays everywhere.
Okay, and what other players do we have to look for on the Moseley side, Brandon?
So an important one is the quarterback position. So Trey Coker, their now senior quarterback, backed up last season, and I think this is going to be an important one for him because, again, stepping into the starting spot for the first time this season, and I think it's going to be very important. Last year, didn't have a ton of time, through 14 passes last year, but was efficient in those passes. 131 yards and a touchdown, had an interception as well, but in that one start, played very effectively, and I think this is going to be key. He had a good game last week in their opening of the season win. Again, the most important position arguably is the quarterback position, and in the little amount of time that he started last year, he showed that he proved why he can be the starter, and again last week did it as well.
So what is that continuity, do you think, does for him? He's been at the school now for 4 years, obviously. He's in his senior year. This is his opportunity to really take this position and run with it. His only opportunity. This is the last year that he has left. What does that do for a player like that?
Well, there's just a fire that built in you. It's your senior year. You want to have as much success as possible. These are the guys these are your brothers. These are the guys that you've been practicing with all year. And especially as a backup quarterback, you've been working with these guys, getting to that spot where, hey, when I step into this starting role, I'm going to be successful. We're going to have a lot of continuity on offense. And again, it's a fire because it is your last season. This is going to be a good season from Trey Coker just because of that fact. But again, the stats are proving it that he's ready to step into this role and have an effective game for today and the rest of the season.
And who's the last player that we have to look at, Brandon, for this Moseley side?
Well, we're going to switch over to the defensive side. Cameron Keys, junior cornerback for this Moseley squad, was the team defensive leader last year, not in terms of interceptions, but in terms of passes defended. He had 14 of them last year. So, look, you don't always have to get the turnover. All you got to do is just cause disruption. I think defense, one of the most underrated things about a defense is corruption and disruption, because you don't always get the turnover, but you're always in the offense's head. You're always saying, can't get that ball, can't get that ball. This defense flies everywhere. Cameron Keys, the leader in that fact for Moseley last year, a team that was very successful.
Makes him not want to throw to your side, as we have about just under 7 minutes left to go for kickoff as the kickoff show continues here. I want to talk a little bit about Keith Alsmer's approach to this game. He mentioned in his pregame interview a lot of speed on this Moseley side. And Aiden and Paulie both mentioned the same thing. Mentality, focus, discipline is how we're going to overcome that. How exactly can you beat speed with discipline and focus?
Well, I think there's a lot that you got to do there. I think first off, as a defense, if you're playing on the outside, you're going to have to just jam as much as possible, cause as much disruption at the line as possible. Again, sloppy conditions, it's going to be hard to catch that ball.
We just saw a drop punt right there.
We just saw a drop punt there. So again, ball is going to be slick all night. So limiting that speed as much as possible by disrupting at the line is going to be huge. A guy to look out for Delaware Valley to be able to guard on the Moseley side is Cree Ross. He's a senior wide receiver, a very big deep threat for this Moseley squad. He had 4 touchdowns on 17 receptions last year. He's a guy that was a huge outside receiver last year. He was a big deep threat, and I think that's definitely someone to watch in terms of speed that Delaware Valley needs to keep an eye on.
And obviously Keith Alsmer has had a lot of success at the school, going 9-4 last year. After starting 0-3, they started 0-3, went on a big tear. A lot of momentum there before eventually losing in the playoffs, but one heck of a season. Obviously, he's going to be able to make some adjustments. Now, this is the home opener, though, the season opener, rather, for Delaware Valley, as Moseley has gotten a little bit of experience with their 42-6 win. Does that put Delaware Valley at any type of disadvantage heading into this game?
Well, of course, anytime you can get a game under your belt is going to be an advantage. And again, for Moseley, they're a Florida team. They understand what this weather looks like. And Delaware Valley, they obviously have experience with the weather as well. So I don't see it as much as a disadvantage as I see it as a slight advantage for Moseley. Their head coach, Tommy Joe Whitten, is in his first season with the team. He had a couple seasons with Booker T. Washington, also in the Panama City area over the last couple of years. So again, first-year head coach, got a game under his belt. The nerves are gone. The experience is there. And I think this is going to be an even playing field. So not a disadvantage for Delaware Valley, but, of course, you want to have as many games as possible before you play another one.
Yeah, honestly. And you just mentioned that Moseley being a Florida team, Delaware Valley, man, they've come a long way down I-95 to come play this game. How much of an effect do you think that has on the team?
Well, you can look at it both ways. There's positives and negatives. Of course, you're tired. You've been traveling for the last couple of days. You had some delays. You want to play football. But, again, all you want to do is play football. And those are like, let's go. Those are the antsy, like jumping on the balls of your feet kind of momentum. And that's kind of what we think about in all sports with, hey, is the rest better or do you want to just keep playing even though you're tired? So I don't – you can look at it in the positive and negative way. I think I think Delaware Valley is ready to go for this game. I think they're antsy, they're ready to go, and I think the adrenaline's going to be more than enough. I don't think the nerves or the tiredness is going to affect them whatsoever.
And obviously the family support. The family's all traveling very well from Delaware Valley High School and from Moseley High School. That kind of support really does help you overcome all those deficiencies that you can't control, like this weather. As we mentioned earlier, a few weather delays due to lightning. Now we have a big rainbow
Hold on,
forming in the sky out of
Alfonso.
our
We
press
have a
box.
double rainbow.
Yes, we do have a double rainbow. This is very rare. Wish you guys were here to see this one right here. This is actually pretty unbelievable. So this is God's way of saying I'm sorry about all those delays, but we'd like to present you some good football here. We're just over 3 minutes left to go until kickoff. The rain has cleared. The clouds are moving away from our playing field, and it looks like we're going to be able to play a good football game here tonight. There's a lot of family and friends have come down here to see it. Lastly, I need your prediction. What is your prediction for tonight's game?
We talked about Paulie Weinrich on the ground for Delaware Valley. I think he runs over this Moseley squad. Delaware Valley, I think, takes this one comfortably on the ground. They're efficient. They're successful. Delaware Valley gets a season-opening win.
Delaware Valley gets a season opening. Okay, you heard it here, folks. Right here on Light 106.9, Brandon Daniels has predicted a Delaware Valley High School football victory here. We have about 2.5 minutes left to go until kickoff. You're listening to 106.9, Alfonso McCree Jr., Brandon Daniels, Delaware Valley football.
And don't forget, fans, we want to remind you that after the game, a presentation will be on the field with a plaque going to the winning team and individual awards for defensive and offensive MVPs for both teams. So please make plans to stick around after the game.
All right, so when we come back, we'll just set the scene and we'll go.
Cool.
Welcome back, Light 106.9. It is time for football. The coin toss is going down right now. The scene is set. Moseley High School versus Delaware Valley High School. Packed house in the building. People still filing in. People on both sides of the stands, on the home side and the road side. We're in for a great night of football, Brandon.
I mean, packed house. Weather's clearing up. Double rainbow. Okay. I mean, look, if you want to talk
that double rainbow,
if you want to talk about a
crazy.
good omen, I think that's the one. So this is going to be a great night of football. As you said, coin toss going down right now between the captains, 2 on the Moseley side, 3 for Delaware Valley. Again, Alfonso, we said our predictions. We said our keys to the game. I mean, the only thing we got to do is start the game at this point.
Absolutely. Now, we've been waiting for a while. The kickoff time was originally 9 o'clock, and then it got moved to 7 o'clock, and then it got moved to 6 o'clock, and then lightning delayed it again to about 7:45. So we're looking at about a 7:45 kickoff. Nobody knew what was going on beforehand. That's Florida for you. The weather is so unpredictable. Welcome to Florida. Welcome to Orlando. It's been like this for the past couple of months, and nothing changes today. Florida doesn't care if you're trying to play a football game. Florida is going to be Florida. But fortunately, we're about to kick things off very soon.
Of course, a great scene set for here at Freedom High School in Orlando, Florida, as these two teams battle it out down here in Central Florida. again, double rainbows in the sky. Good omen, I think, for both teams, whoever comes out with the win. Obviously, predictions, Delaware Valley going to take this one as we're about to get ready for kickoff and the national anthem.
I have to agree, and we're going to stand by for our national anthem right now, and then we will resume our commentary.
The pride of Moseley Marching Band.
All right, the national anthem done by the Moseley High School Band. We are officially ready, Brandon. We are officially ready for kickoff.
It is time. 7:50 p.m. here in Orlando, Florida, ready to go for kickoff between Moseley High School and Delaware Valley. It's going to be a good one.
Now, Brandon, the referees actually considered canceling this game shortly before the Lightning gave some relief. So, fortunately, again, all these families and teams have traveled so far to get down here. This is not like this is a local game that's going on here. This is a game where rescheduling could really throw a lot of things off. So glad that that didn't happen here tonight.
This is the kickoff classic. It's hard to reschedule these types of games with these types of atmospheres. Both sides, fans out in full heat here. And this is, again, a great game.
Again, this is the KSA events game. We're here at Freedom High School. Normally this game, again, is played at the Disney Wide World of Sports. This year it's played at Freedom High School as Delaware Valley will kick things off to Moseley. Moseley will get possession first to start this game. The last time we saw Delaware Valley here was 2017. It's a whole 5 years ago, Brandon.
It's a long time ago, and Everett Bell kicking off for Delaware Valley, and the first time in 5 years that this team has traveled down to Florida, and to Orlando, rather, to play in these types of games.
Absolutely. Looks like Isaac Paul from Moseley football is deep to receive.
Senior cornerback there.
And here we go. Ball is kicked to around the 20-yard line, corralled. And down to about the 39-yard line is Randy Pittman. The ball went to Randy Pittman.
Who else but Randy Pittman? Of course, we talked about it pregame. And the first ball goes to Pittman. A short kickoff there by Everett Bell. And an effective return out to near the 40-yard line for Moseley. They get at their own 40-yard line to start this one off.
So, again, great starting field position. The ball spotted somewhere between the 39 and 40-yard line. In a shotgun formation, 4 wide receivers split, 2 each on both sides. Running back to the right, the handoff. No, the play action. It's a screen pass. Oh, and nice moves there to get some extra yards, but in the end, it's only 2 yards for Moseley.
Cree Ross tried to take it down the far sideline again. Speed threat, and they tried to throw the short pass early, but stopped well by this Delaware Valley defense.
And now Moseley moving with some pace, and this is the type of stuff that Coach Altemer was talking about. Not just the speed and the legs, but the speed in which Moseley's offense operates. Is now they have a 5-wide set. Now the running back comes in, and he'll take this up the middle. And he has a first down and more, racing down the right side, and he's going to be tackled at around the 26-yard line. Ferdinand Chima, the senior running back.
That's a great play right there by Chima, able to shove off tacklers on the inside to get it over to the far sideline.
Just like that, the field position is just switched. As he was actually able to take that one just into the red zone. Oh, great play there by Delaware Valley. It was another screen pass attempted right there, but Ryder Machado, one of our key players for the Warriors, makes the play. And he makes it on Randy Pittman. Okay, so we have some key player action going on.
Key player on key player. And look, Ryder Machado with a huge play there. Not only did he make the tackle, also shoved a Moseley player into Randy Pittman. That's heads up defense right there. And Machado proving why he's one of our key players.
And Randy Pittman obviously a lot bigger than Ryder Machado is, but Ryder doing the smart thing, going for the legs. 3 wide receivers to the right. Moseley looking to the left. Oh, man, that pass went right through the hands of Cree Ross. It was a quick slant pass. Ross had the corner beat, but that one goes through the hands. So it'll be 3rd down now with 13 yards to go. 3rd and 13, about 10 and a half left to go in the first quarter.
Again, it's one of those plays. The ball gets wet. It's hard to catch that, especially in a quick slant situation. It's a good design there by this Moseley offense to get the ball out quick, get a few yards, but now a 3rd and long situation.
Trey Coker in the game now for Moseley. He was in on that last play, that pass that went incomplete. And now a screen pass. This one's to Chima, and he is hit hard and only gains a couple. They're going to have to either go for this one on 4th down or send out the field goal unit.
That was a great gang tackle there.
It looks like they're going to keep the offense out there. On 4th down and 9. They're not going to trust their kicker in these conditions. They are going to send out the offense. Now we have another 5-wide set. They've run this one before. Oh, and that's a tough penalty to take as Delaware Valley with a neutral zone infraction.
It's one of our key players, Paulie Reinrich, with that neutral zone. Not something you want to see early in this game for Delaware Valley, and a helpful one for Moseley as they're able to shove off that 3rd down situation, or that 4th down situation, rather.
And now they have a much more favorable situation, a 4th and 4. A shotgun again. Trips to the right. Coker looking. Finds his man Chima again. Chima stopped inside the 5, just outside of a touchdown. And, man, these guys are quick.
Chima with a great play there to the outside. Landon Machado for Delaware Valley credited with the assist on the tackle. Again, inside the 5 to the near sideline. And a great play by Ferdinand Chima. Again, this is the guy we've been seeing this drive who's had a couple key plays down the stretch, and now 1st and goal situation for Moseley.
A lot of shotgun run here. This one looks like a wildcat formation, and it is. Can he power into the end zone? Yes, Randy Pittman is in. And Moseley off to a fast start. They take a 6-0 lead over Delaware Valley.
Team celebration is all over the place, but Randy Pittman does his best impression of a fullback on that one, taking the Wildcat and bulldozing in right up the middle. It's hard to stop when you're that big.
I mean, you're talking about a do-it-all player. I mean, you look at him right now walking on the sideline. He really looks like he's built like a smaller Zion Williamson, if you can imagine that. Just broad, big, muscular, great center of gravity, and he was able to use that to power himself into the end zone as the extra point is up, and it is right down the middle. So 7-0 for Moseley here.
Jonathan Harris on the extra point continues a hot streak on PATs, now 62 of 64, dating back to the beginning of last season. So again, this guy's been incredible and tops off a great drive for Moseley.
And now it's time for the Alsomer Clark Insurance drive summary. We saw a lot of great things there from Moseley. They started on their side of the field with a really good kickoff return to get them to about the 40-yard line. A big run to take them onto Delaware Valley's side of the field by Chima. And then, man, Randy Pittman was doing the rest of the work from there.
You know, I can't imagine how intimidating it must be to tackle somebody like Randy Pittman, because even from up here in the booth, he's just intimidating to me. And again, I'm like 150, 160.
Yeah, you're 150
so
wet.
It's a little different. But again, Randy Pittman, a do-it-all type player, and he proved it there as he was able to bulldoze for the first score of this game, 7-0 advantage here for Moseley about 9.5 minutes left to go in this first quarter.
Now, the speed was on display on that drive, but so was the power. The power was really on display on that drive, and that's what I really want to talk about, because when we talk about wet fields, wet conditions, man, what helps with that but being hard to tackle? And that's what Moseley has proven that they are right now. So it looks like they're set up for a bit of an onside kick. They don't look like they're taking too many steps back. And now they're shifting into something else.
You know, the last time I saw a lot of shifts in a special teams formation, the Indianapolis Colts not exactly do so hot back in 2015, 16.
So they do end up kicking it deep. It's into the hands of Ryder Machado, who fumbles it. But it's recovered by Delaware Valley. So the initial reception of the kickoff was muffed. Again, these wet conditions, really just catching up to both teams. And then a fumble on the return, but fortunately for the Warriors, it was recovered. Now they have the opportunity to try to match what Moseley did on the previous drive.
Ryder Machado muffed that kickoff and then had the fumble again. Ball's just rolling around on the field, and again, that's tough to be able to handle. And I think that's going to be a huge one here for Delaware Valley. But again, I think it's the run game for this team that's going to be able to really prove that they have a stellar offense. Paulie Weinrich, my key player on the ground. I think he's going to continue this one here. We're going to see how this drive works out for Weinrich. But again, good field position for Delaware Valley as they start their first drive of the game.
Absolutely. They're starting at about the 45-yard line. And they're in a power I formation here as a handoff goes right up the middle, slipping through defenders and down at about the 50.
It's Paulie Weinrich, a good gain to start off. Again, we talked about the power for Moseley. Matching the power for Delaware Valley is Paulie Weinrich. So I think power versus power might be a thing that we see here throughout this entire game.
Absolutely. And Paulie Weinrich mentioned in his pregame interview how important the run game is to this Warriors side. We're seeing it right there. They're trying to establish it. That's a good start with 5 yards right off the top.
And different approaches to the run game, as a lot of shotgun for Moseley and a power I formation for Delaware Valley to start this game. So two different approaches to the power, but both very effective.
Tyler Burton, the shotgun. Another handoff, and man, that looked like a rough tackle. And it's going to be for a loss of about 3 yards on the play, which will set up about a 3rd and 8.
That's Jabari Reed coming across to get that tackle for loss. Senior middle linebacker doing his thing, flying across from his middle linebacker spot to make the tackle for loss. That's a good tone setter for Moseley, and that's a 3rd and long situation for Delaware Valley in their first drive of this game.
Absolutely. This Moseley defense trying to be stout here, trying to push back. Now it looks like Delaware Valley may be slowing things down here. It might be the referees. Okay, looks like they're ready. Headed to the line. They're coming back out in the shotgun formation here. 2 wide receivers to the left, tied in close to the line of scrimmage, and the wide receiver to the right. Oh, man, and that pass right there goes right off of the chest of the intended receiver. And that'll bring up 4th down for Delaware Valley. That went right off the chest of number 17, Bradley Coe, so he couldn't corral that one.
Colin McGarvey on his back foot that entire play there. Just not what you want to see to start out this drive. But again, looks like they're keeping the offense out on the field. So we'll see where this ends up for Delaware Valley. So again, 4th down versus 4th down, power versus power. I mean, this is a lot of even matchups here so far.
I mean, it's a very manageable 4th and 5. They've shown their ability already in this drive to pick up 5 yards. So Coach Olstrom putting a lot of trust in them. They're going in the I formation with 2 wide receivers to the left, man in motion coming to the right, another handoff, and Moseley all over that one. And Moseley will take over at around the 49-yard line. So Delaware Valley taking some risks early. That one did not pay off.
Yeah, and exactly. And great field position for Moseley. They're into Delaware Valley territory before this drive even starts. So a stout defensive drive for Moseley. They're able to get the gang tackle on the outside run, and they're going to flip the field position, already up 7-0 here in the first quarter.
Absolutely. And, momentum is a big thing. And Moseley came out immediately and took the momentum. They have a chance to really put their stamp on this one right here if they can manage another scoring drive right now.
And we didn't talk about him pregame, but first drive kind of star, Ferdinand Chima. We're looking like we're going to see a little bit more of him as this game progresses.
It looks like Delaware Valley is taking a timeout very quickly. what do they need to do really to get back into this game right now?
I think it's tough. You think about having those decisions where you want to go for it on fourth down in your own territory, and to be completely honest, I think that was the right decision. Again, Moseley went for it on fourth down. I think a good momentum shifter is to go for it on fourth down, and it's just a matter of being effective on the ground. How are you able to combat this front seven for Moseley that proved very stout on this first drive? I think if a couple passes went down for Delaware Valley, this drive looks very different. So I think getting a couple short completions to get that momentum going. Obviously, the ground game is hit or miss as of right now, but I think getting this short pass game going is going to be a huge key moving forward.
Yeah, and I definitely believe that drop off the chest, that was a big one right there. That one would have picked them up a lot of yardage to help them get into maybe even a more favorable fourth down situation. But unfortunately, it dropped to the ground, and now Moseley has taken over. And they're about to start their drive, as mentioned earlier, right around the 50 at the 49-yard line.
7:56 to go in this first quarter. Moseley High School already up 7-zip early. And again, the boys from Lynn Haven, Florida, starting out hot in this neutral game in Orlando.
Absolutely. Oh, a big handoff right up the middle. An explosive run after explosive run. This guy Ferdinand Chima, man, he's the real deal.
Ferdinand Chima, man, this is the guy that we should have watched out for more pregame, but he's showing off his speed, and then it's just untouchable ability, a little shifty right up the gut. He gets a big gain. They're well into Delaware Valley territory on this drive.
So that'll bring up about 2nd and inches, it looks like.
I think they're going to mark it as a first down, actually. So a good run there by Ferdinand Chima.
Yes, they are marking it as a first down. Just the decision just made by the line judge. So it'll be first down and 10. Referee's trying to make some decisions on the spot of the ball right now.
It's always a tough decision to make spots like that. It's tough, and hold on. Moving backwards here, a little bit of a situation for Moseley, I believe.
Possibly a penalty? It's unclear right now. Personal foul on the offense. Okay, so I'm guessing that might have been some type of taunting penalty or maybe a face mask penalty on the offense. One of those two is what you usually see with personal fouls from the offensive side of the ball. So that will actually back them up. They did have the first down. Well, actually, they still have the first down. I guess that action came after the play, so I'm going to guess it was a unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. So that'll back them up. That's a really bad penalty there for Moseley, as they just had 1st and 10 on the Delaware Valley side of the field, and now they're starting really right back where they started, but just with longer distance now to get to the first down marker.
Yeah, I believe they are back at the Delaware, or they're at the Delaware Valley 48-49, so basically in the same exact position where they started. So the 13-yard run by Ferdinand Chima erased. You add on the 10-yard penalty, it's a first down and 23, back where you started.
Referee still making the decision here. The ball continues to move back. A lot of confusion here on the field, in the stands. Moseley fans not happy right now, trying to understand what exactly is going on. What are the referee's decisions right now? Why the ball continues to move back? We'll try to give you more information on that once it's clear on our end.
I mean, outside of these after the play penalties, a good start for this drive.
Absolutely. All right, so here we go. Looks like we're ready to play football again after a lot of moonwalking on the field.
A lot of moonwalking. Michael Jackson action now, first down and long.
A handoff up the middle from the shotgun formation. Chima trying to get it all back in one play.
Ferdinand Chima continues to be the guy so far for this team.
Oh, and it looks like he might be limping off the field here. This could be a big blow to Moseley. Chima is limping off the field.
Looks like he might have turned his ankle at the end of that play. I was able to put some weight on it as he was able to jog a little bit off the field. Coming into this game now, Isaac Paul, listed as a corner now, coming into the game on offense for Moseley. See if he can have the same amount of momentum for this Moseley squad as Chima was.
It looks like we're going to have a timeout. And the clock is running again. Okay, so no timeout. We have 2 wide receivers on both sides of the ball, 4 wide receiver set, split to the right, running back in the backfield. Snap is taken, handoff up the middle. They've run this play a lot so far. Delaware Valley all over that one.
Isaac Paul trying to get a little bit of a gain there. It's going to be 3rd and long. And here's the thing for Isaac Paul that's a little bit different than Ferdinand Chima. That first step, that burst for Ferdinand Chima, just don't see the same for Isaac Paul. Not saying any running style is worse than the other, but Isaac Paul a little bit more deliberate in how he takes his first cut, whereas Ferdinand Chima just busted up through the gap.
Explodes through the line.
Explodes through the line, and it's almost like I'm on my back foot. I don't know what to do as a defense.
And both styles can be very effective depending on the situation.
Delaware
Wide
Valley
trips to the left. Strong side with Randy Pittman in the slot.
Austin Carter to the outside near sideline for Delaware Valley, and another flag out onto the field.
And it's a delay of game penalty on Moseley, so that'll move them back 5 yards.
So a lot of sloppiness here for Moseley in this second drive after what could be one of the more efficient drives you're going to have all game to start. And it's the polar opposite again, back to pretty much where they started at Delaware Valley's 48, 49-yard line.
Yeah, it felt like they had an opportunity to maybe secure all the momentum here on this drive and put themselves up 2 scores. Still have an opportunity to do that as they drop back to pass here, and that one goes right off of the hands of Isaac Paul. And they'll be forced to punt this ball away as the special teams unit comes onto the field. So a nice stand there by the Warriors, helped out a lot by some Dolphins penalties, but in the end, it results in a 4th down situation where the Dolphins are going to have to punt this football.
I think momentum shift for Delaware Valley. I think this is just what you made a couple plays on the defensive side, a couple stuffs of Isaac Paul. You're able to get the incompletion there on 3rd and long. And again, all these penalties get you juiced up on the balls of your feet. All right, let's do this. Let's get back on offense and let us score on the board to tie this up.
Absolutely. When you give a team a chance to try to make a comeback when all the momentum felt like it was in a different direction, a fair catch called on the punt here by number 2, Paulie Weinberg. And the Warriors will start at about their 15-yard line as they get their second opportunity of the game to put something together here. They came out a lot with some I formations in the last drive, mixed in a little bit of shotgun, but we'll see if they give the Dolphins a different look for their defense in this possession.
All credit to Paulie Weinrich on that punt return there, because falling backwards, slick ball, raindrops coming down through his face mask. That's a tough one, especially with a couple Moseley defenders tracking him down. So again, they're going to take the ball right on their own 15-yard line, and I think that this is going to be a good one for Delaware Valley. Of course, not as effective in their first offensive drive, but a good amount of feel after that defense was able to get a stop, kept pushing them back, forcing incompletions, forcing a couple stuffs, and I think now coming back on offense, whether you go with the I formation or you switch it up a little bit, I think the momentum has not shifted completely, but I think it's definitely starting to turn over on this Warrior side.
And I truly believe, Brandon, it's so early in the game. Just because something didn't work on the first drive doesn't mean you go away from it. And Coach Alsemer is probably going to stick to the game plan. Him and his coaching staff put together a game plan that they were confident in heading into this game, and they're going to stick to it as this game continues. And we're still in the first quarter, still early, about 5.5 left to go in the first quarter. It's another stoppage of play. See what this one's for. All right, and the referees say we're ready to play once again.
Adjusted the spot real quick, moving them up a couple yards.
And a shotgun formation, 2 wide receivers to the left, tight end and wide receiver to the right. A pass out to the left is to number 5. That is Jaden Ramirez, and he fights forward for a Warriors first down.
That's how it's done. You mix in the short pass. You had the I formation last drive, and we said after that one, maybe you see if you can mix in that short pass. And again, doing just that, Colin McGarvey, good pass. Jaden Ramirez on the far sideline, able to get the first down. And let's keep this drive going.
And that's their first down of the game. And definitely a big first step. When you had the first drive go the way that it did, coming out immediately on the first play and picking up your first down is a great way to shift the way you're feeling about yourself. So another shotgun formation, man in motion coming to the right side. Oh, and that snap is fumbled. And Tyler Bird just has to fall down. So a loss of yards right there. That'll back them up about 5. Okay, 5 or 6, it looks like.
A little bit of miscommunication, low snap. Tyler Bird had to scramble back and recover it. So limiting the damage there for the Warriors. It is going to be 2nd down and 15 coming up for Delaware Valley. Again, no momentum changes right now. You had a little bit of a low snap. Conditions are still sloppy. You know, that's totally fine. 2nd and 15. They're still able to mix in the short pass. I think it's not. You don't have to. It doesn't have to be fancy. It just has to be effective. Trust your reason. I think it's going to be completely fine.
I formation, handoff is up the middle. And that'll get a couple of yards back, nothing too much. So still an uphill battle to climb here on 3rd down and long.
And who else to make the stop but Randy Pittman for Moseley, able to come in. He was all hyped at the end of that play. And again, 3rd down and 15 for this Delaware Valley Warriors squad, trying to get things going with under 4 minutes to go in this first quarter and counting down 7-0 early.
And the sun has completely set here in Central Florida. So, you know, even though we're in Florida, even though it's summertime, it does get a little cool here at night. That ball is already wet. Now it's getting a little cold. That could be leading to some mistakes. As Delaware Valley's in the shotgun, drop back, pass. It is caught for a 1st down and more. Racing across the 50 to the 40 and down at the 40-yard line. Delaware Valley, Jaden Ramirez.
Jaden Ramirez, the first down converted for Delaware Valley, and then gets the huge gain across midfield down the far sideline on the catch and run again. He's been doing it all so far through the air.
It's obvious this offense has a lot of trust in Ramirez and his abilities. He keeps finding his way open, and he keeps being rewarded. And now he's out on the right side as the Warriors are in an I formation again. And now Moseley playing up on Ramirez. A handoff is to the right, to the strong side. And that's not going to amount to much. It's not a loss, but it's only a gain of about 1. So Paulie Weinrich not having a whole lot of success so far on the ground, but you have to think you keep pounding, you keep mixing up with some play action, and with this pass game working on this drive like it is, it could open things up for the run game eventually.
It's going to break open because eventually for Moseley, you're playing the inside, you're bringing your rushers up and your linebackers up, but if Jaden Ramirez is going to keep burning you down the sideline, you're going to have to change something. So I think the holes are going to open up in this game for Weinrich for sure as he exits the game on the 2nd down.
Ace formation now in a handoff to Ryder Machado. He picks up a few. And that's going to bring up 3rd down. So two positive plays, two positive plays, nothing going backward. But you still have a 3rd and manageable here, I'll say.
This Moseley rush has been very effective against the run so far in this one. It's been the pass that's been working for Delaware Valley, but the run, again, expecting the holes to open up eventually. But for now, Moseley doing a great job stuffing these gaps, both on the inside and outside.
Warriors in an I formation. Strong to the right. They run it to the left. And Machado has nowhere to go. This Moseley run defense has been really stout so far today. Nothing changes on that play.
Randy Pittman absolutely blew through the offensive line. It had a hand in getting that stop. And again, it's going to be 4th down for Delaware Valley as this Moseley front 7 has been punishing the Delaware Valley offensive line so far in this first quarter.
It looks like Delaware Valley will punt this football away with a chance to pin Moseley deep in their own territory. I believe this is a smart decision here by the Warriors.
Only down 7-0. It's only a 1-touchdown game.
Looks like that might be an encroachment penalty. No, it's going to be a false start penalty on Delaware Valley. So a loss of 5 yards there, but seeing as though they were going to punt the football anyway, that's not going to hurt them too much. If anything, gives the punter a little bit more room to try to put this ball in a better position for the Warriors to maybe down them inside a bad spot for the Dolphins.
I mean, he was going to punt that ball from right around midfield. That's a tough spot to pin because that's going to be a sub-50-yard punt. It's a tough one, but backed up into their own 40 now. A little bit easier position.
Off. And this one is going to land right around the 15-yard line or so, maybe a little bit closer to the 12.
So good punt. I mean, that stopped as soon as it landed. That's called.
That's wet conditions, man. That's wet conditions. This field, as soon as the ball hits the ground, it's sticking right there.
And another thing, I mean, you look at how that ball traveled. It wasn't spiraling; it was going end over end. So once that ball hits the wet ground, it kind of digs into the ground a little bit. No roll, no backspin. Didn't really go anywhere. So a good punt to around the 12-yard line, and Moseley takes over At 1st and 10, back up their own 12-yard line, already up 7-0 with under a minute to go in this first quarter.
And we have 53 seconds left to go in this first quarter. Moseley looking to get themselves into a favorable position for their drive, and there's that man again, Chima. That went for at least about 5 or 6 yards on first down. So Moseley, what they've been able to do is stay right on schedule with all their plays. If they stop with all the penalties, I don't see a way that the Warriors have been able to stop them so far on their own.
A 9-yard gain for Chima. 2nd and 1 now again. He's been finding every little gap, and again, it's that explosive first step that's able to get him these extra yards.
Another handoff here. The Warriors do a good job of containing that one, though, so that'll bring up a 3rd down play.
You can really see the difference in the Delaware Valley defensive line. They're a little smaller than this Moseley offensive line, so of course the size difference is going to be a factor. It's a matter of getting those edge rushers to get that speed, to get that first burst off the edge to contain any sort of burst from Chima or Pittman or anyone rushing the ball for this Moseley squad.
Sam Freitas is the quarterback. Tight end on the left side, 2 wide receivers to the right, running back to Freitas' right. A short screen pass. We've seen this play a few times already, and this one's working in a big way as I believe he picked up the first down. That's Cree Ross. If he didn't pick up the first down, he was close. It looks like time has expired in our first quarter of play. We'll see if there's any time left on the clock before we send this to a break. Moseley, with all the momentum here in this first quarter, they've dominated from start to finish on offense and defense, and this is actually going to be called for a penalty, so it looks like it was a hold on Moseley, and that will actually take them way back here.
So the catch and run by Cree Ross on the far sideline erased by way of a holding penalty to end the first quarter.
Okay, and that is officially the end of the first quarter, Brandon. A dominant first quarter for Moseley, even though the score is still just 7-0. The Warriors probably feel fortunate to be in just a 7-0 ball game with plenty of time left to go to get their offense going. I mean, they had a pretty good drive before it ended up stalling. We'll see if they can make a stop on Moseley or if Moseley's going to score their second touchdown of the game. You're listening to 106.9. We'll be right back. Maybe 2 minutes. Thank you, sir. Yeah. It'll help. So yeah. Yeah. No. By all means.
Remember to check out the KSA Events website at ksaevents.com. Also, remember at the conclusion of today's game, there will be Delaware presentation. Don't forget, ksaevents.com.
Hey, Gavin, they're actually they're back right now. So. It's the start of the second quarter. We just had one play run that came back pretty quickly, but Moseley picking up a few more yards there after they were backed up from the holding penalty, Brandon. So now they face a 2nd and 16.
Again, the penalties have been the big thing for Moseley. I mean, they could open up a 2-touchdown lead, at the very least kick another field goal the way they've been playing offense. But again, these penalties have been driving them back play after play. And again, a 2nd and long situation.
And a shotgun and a deep pass there for Moseley, and it's over the head of everybody. That throw was to the left side of the field, intended for Austin Carter.
Closest player there was Landon Machado for Delaware Valley.
It was.
It's almost like he was running that streak, but a good play for Landon Machado and that defense. They were able to kind of wrestle away that wide receiver so they couldn't get that extra step to get that deep ball.
And you know what that does for Moseley? That makes Delaware Valley respect that deep pass game. If you break it out and say, hey, we're willing to do this, The defense has to start respecting it, and that's exactly what happened there. But now they face a 3rd down and long. Be nice for them to break out another one of those right there, unless they're going to concede this drive, maybe do a quick run and then punt the football away. We'll see what they decide to
Well, I think
do.
either way, a little momentum for Delaware Valley as they're able to get that incompletion in this 3rd and long now coming up.
And another throw, and this one falls incomplete as well, as Frieders was absolutely smacked on that play. That was not a pretty hit there.
I mean, again, closest receiver, Logan Alsomer, the D-back for Delaware Valley. So, again, a lot of pressure there. That was Aiden Black coming off the edge for the Warriors. They're able to get the stop. That's what you want to see from this defense. Again, the size isn't there in comparison to Moseley on both ends for Delaware Valley, but it's that speed that you want to see. And, of course, Aiden Black, one of the guys we highlighted pregame, made that play there and forces the punt on Moseley's end.
But you know what? There, once again, Brandon, the penalties killing the Dolphins. They had a good drive going there, even right before they had committed that holding penalty. And another muff punt there by Delaware Valley. And the Dolphins all over them. So these slick ball conditions are really creating a lot of problems for Delaware Valley as they will start their drive at the 40-yard line. Could have been a little bit closer, around maybe the 45-yard line. So a 5-yard difference, not the biggest deal in the world for the Warriors. But, man, you hate to see those muff punts happening. That's about the 2nd or 3rd time we've seen it today.
If you're the coaching staff for Delaware Valley, you get a little bit tense when you see that ball get on the ground, especially after a fair catch. So Jaden Ramirez doing a good job to fix his own muff punt mistake there. They get at their own 40-yard line, down 7-zip, but a good defensive stand and a little bit of all right, let's go. 2nd quarter, just under 11 minutes to go. Let's get a score on the board.
Again, the I formation being brought out. Strong side is to the left. A play action pass. This is the first one we've seen of those today, and that one's nearly intercepted. The throw by Logan Alsomer went right to the Dolphins. But went right through the hands as well, Brandon. Sorry.
Jabari Reed almost had that pick right there, right through his hands again. I think it had to have been part slick ball. Also, that was a quick throw right there. But again, avoiding the big mistake with the interception goes right through the hands of Jabari Reed, and it's a 2nd and 10. You breathe a little bit. All right, that happened. Let's move on. 2nd and 10.
Let's try to move forward.
Let's try to move forward here. Delaware Valley in the I formation.
I formation slot, strong left side. The handoff is up the middle. It looks like it's Weinrich again, but he's met immediately.
Goodness.
This Moseley rush defense is giving absolutely nothing tonight.
They are just continuing to lay it on. That's Raiden Bruins assisted on that tackle. It's 3rd and 10, no gain for Weinrich. But again, we wanted to establish the run for Delaware Valley, but it's hard to do that when Moseley has been all over it to start this game. 10.5 minutes and counting to go here in Orlando at Freedom High School.
Moseley's been doing a really good job of swarming to the ball. Now, they've stayed in this nickel and dime package for the most part of the night, so that makes it even more impressive. You know, most of your linebackers aren't on the field, and you're still finding ways to stop the run, as that pass play is out to the left side, but it's not going to be enough for a 1st down, as it only picks up about 5 yards there, and that'll bring up 4th. We'll see if Delaware Valley is trying to keep their offense on the field, but it looks like they will punt the ball away once again.
Aiden Black with a good flat route to get open, but again, swarmed by that Moseley defense. So the 5-yard gain puts her 4 or 5-yard gains, 4th and 6 now, punt unit out for Delaware Valley. So again, this offense just stalling when it needs it most on those 3rd down situations.
Oh, we have a false start penalty here on Delaware Valley. That will move them back 5 yards. So similar to the last drive, 4th down punt, but before we get to the punt, a false start penalty on the Warriors that backs them up. 2nd drive in a row now here.
Isaac Paul back deep for Moseley to try to get a good return. Already up 7-0 again. He's had some plays on offense, not that effective. We'll see if he gets it on the punt return. It's a good one there.
Looks like he'll have a chance to return this one. He takes it to the left side, going around the corner. He has speed, and he has blockers. And he's into Delaware Valley territory at around the 43-yard line of the Warriors. Once again, great starting field position for the Dolphins.
Isaac Paul doing exactly what you need to do as a punt returner. Catches the ball and waits, plants his right foot to say, hey, I'm going to go right, then cuts it back left up the far sideline and gets a great gain down that far sideline into Delaware Valley territory. That's that speed showing off from Moseley that this Delaware Valley coaching staff has been talking about all week.
Again, 9:23 left to go in the second quarter. We've seen a lot of good things so far from this Dolphins offense, but what we've also seen is drive-killing penalties that have taken momentum that they built for themselves and absolutely canceled it out. We'll see if they can avoid those on this possession as that run is to the man, Randy Pittman. Mama, there goes that man again. Looks like we had some post-play interactions, I'll call them.
Yeah, you want to call them interactions. Let's keep it PG for the folks up in Pennsylvania.
But it looks like no flags thrown on that play. The referees letting boys be boys.
Just doing a little talking. Don't worry about it. This is the nature of the game. It's how it works. Randy Pittman tried to get a little bit of a better gain there, but not much. So good stuff on the guy who has been hard to tackle all game.
And he's in the backfield again here. Another run from him, but the Warriors all over that one. So a good job swarming the run game right there. After that initial drive of the game, it seems like the Warriors are really starting to settle in. They've taken advantage of some mistakes by the Dolphins, and now they're coming in on their own and building momentum on the defensive side.
They're doing what Moseley was doing to them. Well, while Delaware Valley was trying to run that I formation, Moseley swarming at the line of scrimmage. Now Delaware Valley giving them a taste of their own medicine. Paulie Weinrich assisting on the tackle there. And it's going to be 3rd down and 8 coming up for Moseley into Delaware Valley territory already.
Shotgun formation for the Dolphins with 3 wide receivers to the right. The pass is right through the hands. How many times have we seen the Dolphins run that exact play? Wide trips to the right, a wide receiver to the left with a quick slant, and the ball goes right through his hands every single time.
Well, when you see Delaware Valley, they're not pressing. They're not jamming at the line of scrimmage. Their outside corners are playing back. They're playing 5 to 7 yards back. So all you got to do is make a 2-yard cut to the inside. You're going to get that completion and some extra yards when you have Cree Ross on the outside for Moseley. Those are the types of plays that you got to see all the time. And again, they've been running it all game. And Delaware Valley gets the incompletion as the ball goes through his hands.
Now a punt coming on 4th and 8 for the Dolphins. It's been a defensive battle so far in this one. That one's a very good punt. It looks like it hit a member of the Dolphins before it got past the 15-yard line. Let's see where they mark it. It looks like it might be right at the – no, they're actually going to mark it closer to about the 13-yard line, it looks like. Very hard to tell from our vantage point, Brendan.
Yeah, not the best vantage point, but again, a good punt by Moseley and Delaware Valley forcing the stop.
It's 1st and 10 now for the Dolphins. For the Warriors. And the pass to the right side. Is that one caught? No, it's incomplete on 1st and 10. Still a 7-0 game, so a good potential pass over there. Just couldn't get the feet down in bounds. The catch was made on the sideline, but unfortunately the feet were out.
So 2nd and 10 now for the Warriors. Their offense has been slowly increasing. They've been slowly getting that feel. Again, first game of the season in a slippery field down here in Orlando. You're going to have to see that at the beginning of the game, but I think the momentum is starting to go here.
And this like a ace shotgun formation. A nice play right here, but again, the Dolphins, every time the Warriors are running the football, the Dolphins of Moseley are just all over it. Nothing's working in the running game so far. Now Coach Alsmer has tried doing things up the middle, and now he's tried the East and West game. Moseley all over that one as well.
Ryder Machado for the Warriors tried to bounce it to this near sideline, but it was sophomore cornerback Marshall Williams that was able to recognize that and get there with him to force the pretty much no gain. It's 3rd down and 7 now, so good play, good recognition for that Moseley defense to be able to force a minimal gain on the ground.
So now it's 3rd and 7, and it's another shotgun formation with 1 wide receiver out wide. The line is stacked with 2 tight ends. And a timeout taken by the Warriors. They didn't like the look they were getting from the Moseley side. So they'll have one timeout remaining, as Moseley has all 3 of their timeouts remaining. And a lot of things to talk over.
Well, here's what you got to think if you're Delaware Valley. I formation not working the best, especially if you just saw there on the 3rd down and 7, Alfonso. I mean, 4 were in the box for Moseley, but they also had all 3 of their linebackers about a rush. And again, that nickel and dime package, you really don't know what you're going to get there. And it's tough when you're Delaware Valley. It was a good timeout call. They're able to kind of reassess. But all game, it's been this Moseley front 7 that has been just pounding on this Delaware Valley offense so far, especially in the run game.
And Moseley defensive backs haven't really been getting that much work today, which is why players like Isaac Paul have been able to use a lot of energy on offense.
And
because
they've been doing a good job doing it.
Exactly. They haven't really had to deal with much on the defensive side as far as the pass game goes. The running to pass ratio has been definitely in the favor of the run. But here's a pass here, and Aiden Black has the pass soar over his head, but a flag is down. We'll see what this is for. This might be in the favor of the Warriors, exactly what they may have needed here. Waiting for the official announcement of the penalty. Momentarily, things are being discussed on the field.
Before we get that call, I mean, Paulie Weinrich, a huge play. From what it looked like as soon as that ball was snapped, it looked like that was a run play.
Oh, yeah, and that's a first down there, Brandon, for the Warriors. Okay, so
drive continues.
A penalty on Moseley saves the drive for the Warriors, as now they have an opportunity to start
I'm not
fresh.
sure if we've heard that before, Alfonso.
I don't think we
penalty
have.
Tonight, I'm not sure.
I don't think we have. That might be the first one. And another run play, and
Another
the flag is coming out.
Two
flags
are
coming out.
out.
Okay, what is happening here?
A lot of commotion here. We talk about the Moseley cornerbacks not getting a lot of action, but the referees are getting a lot of action tonight on a 1.5 play so far. 2 flags on the field, still waiting for that call. Based on some of the fans' reactions, it might be on
personal
Moseley.
Foul on the defense.
It is Moseley with another penalty.
It's really the only thing that's really been killing Moseley so far.
And
penalties and drops. That's it. Mostly penalties. Only a couple of drops, but mostly penalties for the Dolphins. They just have not been able to get out of their own way so far. In a game where really they should probably be up multiple scores, they still find themselves only up 7-0 with 7 minutes, 6 seconds left to go in the second quarter of this game. And yet another first down for the Warriors by penalties. Back-to-back plays. Penalties put the Warriors in a better position on a drive that looked like it was dead.
I mean, they started at around their own 12 to 15-yard line, not sure exactly on that spot. And now they're across midfield on 2 busted run plays that were stuffed by the Moseley defensive line, and then penalties on Moseley's defense. So again, this has been the big key for Moseley. How are you going to be able to stop these penalties? This is what's been killing you. This is why you're only up 1 score. And for Delaware Valley, bring on the penalties. All right, their offense is going to get going.
They'll take all of them they can get.
All of them, because what's been working, these quick passes, we've been saying it for Moseley, but it's also working for Delaware Valley. And again, I think this is all going to come to fruition as we near the end of this second quarter, about halfway through so far.
High formation now, 2 wide receivers, 1 on both sides. A handoff to the right side is for about 5 yards. Okay, it looked like he was stopped for about 2 and just kept pushing forward, so a good gain there. Really about 5 yards for the Warriors.
Really the first breath of life in that I formation run offense for Delaware Valley, able to get 5 yards on that carry right up the middle on that little draw play. So again, I think that's now 2nd and 6. It's a 4-yard gain officially, but those I formations, it's not often you get those 10-yard bursts, 15-yard bursts. Those are the 4-yard punishing runs that are going to really add up over the point of this game. And again, we're only halfway through the second quarter. It's going to work out eventually.
Another run from the I formation, this one to Weinrich. And he continues to push forward as he picks up about 3 yards on that play.
Just cutting this down in half, goes from 10 to 6, now to 3. It's going to be 3rd and 3 for Delaware Valley, punishing runs. You don't need a lot, you just need enough. And that was right up the middle for a gain of 3. Actually, officially going to be a 2-yard gain. 3rd and 4 coming up for Delaware Valley.
Moseley Dolphins well represented here in these stands tonight.
Very well represented, coming out of Lynn Haven, Florida, suburb of Panama City.
Not too far of a drive, huh?
No, not too far of a drive here from Orlando, of course. Delaware Valley coming up from Milford, Pennsylvania. Traveling a big travel down here, and now down only 7 halfway through the second quarter.
Man in motion coming to the left. Handoff is to Weinrich. Weinrich trying to make something happen, but again, Moseley all over that one as he's close to a first down. He looks like he's about 2 yards short. Be interesting to see if Coach Ulsimer goes for this one. I would guess that he would because this is the most momentum that the offense has been able to put together so far. You might want to keep this one going.
4th and 2 for the Warriors. Again, they went for it earlier in this game, but again, that was a different situation. Still down only 7, and they've really locked up this Moseley offense since the start of the second quarter, really since that score on that first drive of the game.
And they will go for it. It's power on power. Oh, my goodness, and busting through the line is Moseley. There was nowhere to go. Mama, there goes that man, Randy Pittman, once again. Absolutely nowhere to go for the Warriors. He was met as soon as the ball was handed off. That was incredible. This guy is a stud to watch play. Randy Pittman, my goodness.
Every bit of 225 pounds of him just powered through the middle of that line and absolutely stuffed the Delaware Valley hopes of continuing this drive. Randy Pittman, that is how you play defensive end.
What's insane is he's listed as a defensive end, but that play looked like a defensive tackle kind of play. The kind of play where if you're playing Madden and you have run stopper on and somebody runs the ball in the inside zone, you bust through the line immediately. That's exactly what that looked like. To try to paint a picture for you guys at home who have played that game, that's exactly what Randy Pittman just did there. I mean, there was absolutely no stopping him.
Do you remember that South Carolina-Michigan game when
Yes, I do.
Jadavion Clowney absolutely ran through everybody and got the hit? Yeah, that's what I was thinking of as soon as I saw that play.
Yeah.
Delaware Valley drive stops in a punishing fashion, and they're going to turn this ball over on downs and a huge tackle for loss from Randy Pittman. But again, this Delaware Valley defense, they've been stout since allowing a touchdown on that first drive. I think there is a lot there on this defense. They haven't really given anything up whatsoever. Punts in the last 2 drives for this Moseley team. So the Warriors defense holding strong, down just 7.
I mean, let's err on the side of the positivity here for the Warriors, though, in all seriousness. 42 points were dropped on Moseley's last opponent. Delaware Valley's only given up 7. So they're holding their own against this team. They just need some help getting things going on the offensive side as Moseley with a wide receiver sweep to the right side. Room is made and dumped on his head, but getting up onto his own 2 feet is Cree Ross as he took that one for a long one. Oh, man, but another flag. There's more laundry. It's a holding penalty on Moseley, and they'll go back 10 yards again.
All the way
do I
back.
have to say it again, Brandon?
I mean, this laundry hamper is filling up. You might want to put a load in, but I think it's going to be a heavy one. Hot. You're going to go hot water. You're going to go fast on the spin, maybe 2 dries. It's a lot right now, and we're only in the second quarter. Moseley fans not happy with that call, but for Delaware Valley, the penalties, take them. They'll take everyone. Cree Ross, showing off that speed, and Delaware Valley, not much you can do for that when you have somebody with, track-level speed on the outside.
Man,
but again,
these Moseley fans are vocal. I'm telling you.
Oh, they're vocal, and they're right below us, too.
They are not happy about all the flags that they've been seeing.
Backed up to a 1st and 20 for Moseley. Cree Ross going to the far sideline on the outside for Moseley.
A handoff is up right up the middle from the pistol formation and a fumble, but it's fallen on by Moseley.
Isaac Paul in the game still for running back, so not a lot of action from Ferdinand Shima. I'm assuming that injury to his ankle foot area still hampering him, but Isaac Paul, little gain on that 1st and 20.
Yeah, you just mentioned Ferdinand Chima. He's still on the sideline right now, limping a little bit every time he tries to put some weight on that injury. So if you've ever twisted your ankle in a really bad way, it really is tough. Even if ligaments aren't damaged or anything, sometimes it's really tough to put weight on it. He might be out for the rest of the game. That would not be good for Moseley, as he really was having some explosive runs right up the middle of that Delaware Valley defense. And what's that going to be? So delay a game on the Dolphins as they'll move back another 5 yards. So it was already second and long, and now it's second and longer. And they're going to have to put together 2 extraordinary plays to try to keep this drive going unless the Warriors can bail them out with a penalty of their own.
2nd and 22 here for Moseley. So they might need their mom's help with the amount of laundry they've got here.
Oh, a deep pass to the right. It's caught by Moseley, and they get all the yards back. It's number 2, Austin Carter, the senior wide receiver, comes up with a huge play. And this Moseley crowd here in Orlando, Florida, is losing their minds as that has given them something to be happy about on this drive.
Moseley said, hey, flags? What flags? We're going to get all that back. First down, huge gain for the senior wide receiver, Austin Carter. They get all of it back and much more, and they're deep into Delaware Valley territory. That's how you flip the script on what was a rather disappointing start to this drive.
I can't tell if the Warriors got beat or if that was in just a cover 2 where the go route can be easily exploited by an offense, as that one is juggled and dropped by Isaac Paul.
I think it was one of those. I think it was one of those situations on that last play for Austin Carter where I think he recognized the fact that they were running a deep zone and was able to just catch the ball and just skirt to the outside. I think he was able to just, again, a lot of space for Austin Carter to be able to catch and run down that sideline in a big game, but the incompletion on the hands of Isaac Paul makes it a 2nd and 10 for Moseley.
2 wide receivers to the left in the shotgun. A hand up into the middle is to Isaac Paul, and he's still going forward, still moving forward. Now, Isaac Paul is not the biggest guy, but he just showed a lot of power. Is this another flag? Wait, no, it looks like it might have been a fumble.
A fumble caused by Delaware Valley in the scrum.
Yes, it looks like the ball was ripped away from Isaac Paul in all that commotion. And Delaware Valley has caused themselves a turnover, and they get the ball back with a fresh set of downs.
So on the second effort by Isaac Paul, sometimes you don't want to take the second effort. Sometimes you take what you can get and get down. But the second effort by Isaac Paul, able to bring the ball a little bit, and the Warriors defense pounced on it. And they take the ball over at their own 20-yard line. 22-yard line officially. And again, momentum back on Delaware Valley's side, down 7-0.
Play action. And that ball is knocked away. Oh, and a fight at midfield. Oh, man, things are getting chippy here. It's a fight at midfield between the 2 squads. A lot of laundry there on the field.
It's Gianni Barnes from Moseley and Eric Foss for Delaware Valley to start the one, and then the scrum just continues. Flags all over the place as Gianni Barnes wrestled away by his coaches. And we're going to see how this matches up for the refs. But again, penalty flags all over the place. This one's getting chippy. 2.5 minutes to go in the second quarter, and a fight breaks out at midfield.
This one's going to take a lot of sorting out.
5 flags on the field. Every ref
threw a flag. Every ref was like, hey, I want a piece of this. I mean, this game has been chippy from the start. They've been going at it like this from the start. Some unsportsmanlike conduct penalties. And
not what you want to see on the Moseley sideline. Gianni Barnes getting screamed at by his coaches, by a hoist of them. And for the right reasons. Again, you don't want to be starting a fight. You're up 7-0. Nothing to worry about.
And both teams going to take a second here.
Coaching staffs on both sides trying to regroup their teams. Heads and the emotions got the best of both sides. And the coaching staff's going to try to spell it on the Delaware Valley side and, of course, on the Moseley side as well.
I mean, these are the kind of things that I talked to Paulie Weinbrick and Aiden Black about before the game. Discipline. That's how they said they were going to be able to win this game. So far, with penalties, they've been more disciplined than Moseley has. However, situations like this, you have to think, if the penalties are called on both sides, they're going to be offset, so it's not going to hurt either side. But you'd hate to see any type of ejections or any type of punishments handed out right now. I mean, this has been a physical football game. You'd like to just see both teams be able to just continue playing, a good brand of football, and the referees being a little bit lenient here. This is a game in Orlando. Families came all the way down here to see it. You don't want to throw players out unless it's absolutely necessary, because their families came down here to watch them play too.
So unsportsmanlike conducts on both sides, offsetting penalties. And an extra second one on the Moseley sideline, and that riles up the Moseley fans traveling from Lynn Haven. So 2 penalties on the Moseley side, just 1 for Delaware Valley. So a little bit of help there after the chippiness got the best of both sides. Delaware Valley gets a little bit of penalty advantage. They move their drive and they get a fresh set of downs.
Gianni Barnes still taking some space away from the team. He's taking a knee at around the 15-yard line on the sideline, whereas the rest of the team is trying to regroup and figure out what exactly they do to go from here, because that's just not a good play there by Yanni Barnes. And it's not a good play there by the Warriors either. I mean, you'd like to see more discipline out of your players, especially in a game like this.
Definitely, as a player, the chippiness is going to just continue to build up. And it's a matter of fact, if you have the discipline to not act on it and let your play decide that, and Yanni Barnes and a couple of the other Moseley guys decided to act on it, and then 2 penalties for them, 1 on the Delaware Valley side for continuing said fight.
I will say this, though, that commotion, that altercation happened in the secondary. That's about as much action as the secondary has seen while Delaware Valley has been on offense.
I think outside of the fight, Marshall Williams had a good tackle on Paulie Weinrich earlier in this quarter, but outside of that, like you said, not a lot of action. So create some yourself? Question mark. Not the best way you want to do that, as Paulie Williams, just trying to do his best here. Yanni Barnes getting a talking to by his coaches on the Moseley sideline. They're still not resuming play. Delaware Valley will continue their drive rather on their own 38-yard line.
I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see Barnes for the rest of the game here as a coach's decision.
He's got his helmet off. He's all the way on the left sideline for Moseley, back at around their own 20-yard line. He's now walking back towards his teammates, so we'll see if he gets back in this game. But as of now, a little bit of a break for Barnes as the tempers flared here with 2.5 minutes left to go in the second quarter.
All right, now we're back to football. The Warriors have a 1st and 10 here. I formation once again, 2 wide receivers out wide. Throwing off his back foot. And a screen pass caught. But behind the line, the tackle is made. And again, Moseley. I can't say enough about this defense. They've just been absolutely impenetrable.
I mean,
quick, fast, strong. What else can I say?
I mean, that tackle was disgusting in a good way. I mean, that was power, that was physical, no gain at all for Delaware Valley on the ground. They've really struggled on this ground game. It was a key for us pregame to establish the run game, but this Moseley front 7, especially this D-line, has proved that that's not happening tonight if you're the Warriors.
2nd and 18 now. 1.5 minutes left to go in the second quarter. And another stoppage of play. So the referee was counting how many players that Delaware Valley had on the field. They have their 11, so they're good to go. And a false start penalty is going to be called on the captain. That's Aiden Black.
Tried to get a break there to beat his man on the far sideline. Not the way you want to do that. They're going to get backed up on 2nd down. And I think it's something that Aiden Black saw before the refs came in to stop that play momentarily. Saw Randy Pittman try to fly in from his middle linebacker spot right into the middle of that defensive line. So if you're Aiden Black, you see that, you're like, all right, I got to get my break to be able to help out my quarterback. But again, just a little bit too quick on that break, and they're backed up 2nd and 23.
And the snap is fumbled. It was a bad snap. And Moseley has recovered it. Moseley takes possession with 1.8 minutes left to go in the second quarter. And they're in prime position to try to put up another score before halftime.
Moseley pouncing on the low snap. This is the second time today that Delaware Valley has had a low snap situation where it's been a fumble. First one recovered by the Warriors. The second, they're recovered by Moseley. And now inside Delaware Valley's 30-yard line, Moseley High School, 7-0 lead with 1 minute to go in the second quarter. They received the ball to start the first half. So again, this is a crucial situation. If you want to get some points up before half, you are kicking the ball away to Delaware Valley to start the second.
Now this is a tight slots formation. Shotgun, man in motion. It's Cree Ross. He's looking for an opening, but the Warriors swarming on that one. That will be no gain.
Nothing there. Colton Handy on the tackle for Delaware Valley. That's really the first time that we've seen those outside runs stopped by Delaware Valley. They've done a great job stopping the inside runs since Ferdinand Chima has exited this game. But with 40 seconds and counting, a crucial stop with the clock still running on the outside run by Moseley.
Back to pass, Cree Ross. And he's inside the 10 with 30 seconds left to go and a timeout taken. And another fight there and flags thrown once again. Unbelievable.
This time in the backfield, this fight started. So the chippiness continues between these two teams. Jacob Alba, I believe, started the fight, or at least got a little chippy, and the flags were thrown.
Personal foul on the offense and personal foul on the defense.
Penalties offset.
So I believe that means they have to replay the down. But it depends on if that was considered to happen before or after the play. And it's going to be a timeout taken by Moseley. And once again, I feel like I've said this a lot, the Moseley home crowd is not happy.
They also came out in full force, as you can very well hear. Not sure if everybody can hear that, but we definitely can. The band, the fans, everybody getting involved with just 31 seconds left in this first half. Moseley High School up 7-0 over Delaware Valley, and the Warriors trying to get a stop as they are going to start the second half with the ball. So a very key stop if they want to keep this a one-touchdown game.
Well, now Moseley has already proven their ability to make a field goal. I mean, they put through that extra point. So if they can get a little bit closer, they could set themselves up with an opportunity to go up 10 before halftime and thus put themselves in a better position, forcing the Warriors to score 2, which they haven't been able to, score 1 yet. So that will put them in a favorable position heading into halftime. With 31 seconds left to go, it's 2nd down and 8. So those penalties offset, but they also canceled out that big play by Cree Ross there that put the ball inside the 10.
Well, if you're Delaware Valley, much like the song going in our PA system right now, wouldn't it be nice if they can get a stop before the end of this half?
Well, actually, okay, so the penalties happened after the play. My mistake, ladies and gentlemen. The penalties happened after the play ended, so that play will stand. The Dolphins are still inside the 10-yard line with an opportunity to go up by 2 scores right here and a flag for a false start penalty. It looks like that'll be on number 78. Trying to get more clarity on who this is on. Either way, they're backing up 5 yards here.
Again, Moseley penalties.
It's going to be a false start on Moseley.
It's going to be Moseley penalties now, backing them up. 31 seconds
Shotgun
to go.
pass to the end zone. That was in the direction of Randy Pittman, but it falls incomplete.
Nobody there. Bradley Coe, the closest defender for Delaware Valley. A little upset that he couldn't get back there, but nevertheless an incompletion. So the clock stops for Moseley, but Delaware Valley forcing the incompletion. Again, wouldn't it be nice if they can go into this half down just 7-0.
2nd
despite
and 10.
everything going on.
It's a 2nd and 10. Moseley has been very shotgun heavy this entire drive. That hasn't changed in the red zone. Another shotgun. Dropping back. Throwing. It is incomplete. Aiden Black makes the play on Randy Pittman.
Ryder Machado around there as well. May have gotten a couple fingers on the ball. Definitely made the celebration as if he did. So a good team stop there by Black and Machado.
They're still going to need to make one more of those stops. With 24 seconds remaining here in the first half.
Delaware Valley down just 7-0 again. A crucial stop as they do get the ball to receive. They do receive the ball to start the second half. And again, any kind of stop here would be huge as they're down just 7-0.
Oh, we have a Ferdinand Chima sighting as he catches the ball, lowers his shoulder, but he's stopped inside the 5.
A good play.
The clock
by
is
Bradley
winding.
Coe.
10 seconds remaining.
Huge
Now,
play
the
by
Dolphins
Bradley
do have a
Coe.
timeout here. Looks like they're going to run this clock down and then take their timeout, and they do with 4 seconds remaining in the first half. It looks like they might bring on their field goal unit here. Yes, they will. So that'll be number 48, Jonathan Harris, the senior kicker, who will try to put this one through for 3 and give Moseley a 10-point lead headed into halftime, Brandon.
It was a good effort for Bradley Coe to keep Ferdinand Chima in bounds, but the first action we see from Chima since we're sustaining that injury is an effective one as they get well inside where they need to be to get a short field goal for Jonathan Harris, and again to go up 10-0 with just 4 seconds to go. Heading into the half up 10-0, definitely a little bit more comfortable than up just 7, because again, Moseley, they will kick the ball away to start the second half.
Oh, look at that. We got a dancing Moseley fan. Senior citizens can still move their hips like that. We need to get her on the field.
I very much respect that. Get her on the cheerleading unit for sure.
All right, and it's a snap. It's good, and the field goal is right through as time expires in the first half. Moseley takes a 10-0 lead as both squads will head to their respective locker rooms. Moseley dominating this first half. On the defensive side of the ball, maybe not so much on the offensive side. They had their struggles as the Warriors were able to put up a good fight, but it's 10-0 regardless. A donut for the Warriors, and we're headed into halftime with a 2-possession lead for Moseley High School.
As much as we like donuts on the Delaware Valley side, or at least I very much do, not the donut you want. Through 2 quarters of play, they are down 10-0, but a little bit of positivity here for the Warriors. They are able to get their offense going at points throughout this game. The short passes, the slants, the flats are working out well for the Warriors. Just a matter of being able to stop Ferdinand Chima. He's been the guy for Moseley that's been the biggest problem for the Warriors to stop.
Absolutely, and we'll take a look really quickly at the Alsmer Clark Insurance drive summary on that one. We had a bad snap by Delaware Valley, resulting in a turnover, putting Moseley High School in prime position to take advantage. They were able to drive a little bit, make a few plays. We had a lot of altercations going on the field, a lot to sort out. But in the end, Moseley was able to capitalize, put 3 points on the board, and take a 10-0 lead headed into halftime. It's 10-0. Warriors trailing the Dolphins here at halftime at Freedom High School in Orlando, Florida. You're listening to Light 106.9. This is Warriors football. We'll see you after halftime.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you.
Halftime's about 15 minutes. Do you think you could give us that?
Marching band.
Okay. Okay, that's cool. Okay, cool. Let's do that then. Okay. Okay, sounds good. So we'll do a halftime analysis.
Now?
Yeah.
Okay.
He'll give me the cue.
Just talk. We'll go off each other.
Yeah, I got you. He sent me something. Okay, so what we'll do,
Some scores.
we're going to get scores from around.
Okay, you got that. And then if you want to do any analysis, just we'll bounce off each other. A lot of action today.
Welcome back to Light 1069. You're listening to Warriors football. Alfonso McCree Jr. alongside Brandon Daniels. We're going to give you some halftime analysis, but before we do, let's just go over some of the other scores in the area. So let's take a look at it. Of course, here in Orlando, Florida at Freedom High School, it's Moseley leading Delaware Valley 10-0 at halftime. Hazleton area 34-15 over Pittston area, with 4:01 left to go in the third quarter in that game. And then Berwick up 14-0 on Southern Columbia. They're also in the third quarter. Fourth quarter score here in the B3 division: Valley View 7, Crestwood 7. B5 North Pocono 20 with Wyoming Valley West only having 6 with 2:10 left in the third quarter. Then Dallas up 37-6 over Abington Heights with 9:27 left to go in the fourth quarter there. Lakeland absolutely destroying
Pitching a
Scranton
shutout.
Prep right now,
Unfortunately,
33-0.
the office
The
did not do
office
too
is
well.
not – Michael Scott is not coaching that team up very
Definitely
well
not.
right now. And then Dunmore up 21-20 over Old Forge with 4:53 left to go in the fourth quarter. So that one's coming right down to the wire. I hope whoever is watching that one is enjoying it. Western Wayne up 27-6 over Lake Lehman with they're in the third quarter as well. My apologies. And then West Scranton 27-17 over Riverside. So okay, we do have some.
Maybe that was Charles Minor's team.
Yeah, that was Charles Minor's
Definitely.
team. Michael Scott is coaching up the West Scranton guys. 27-17, 1:27 left to go in the third quarter. Holy Cross beating Hanover area 28-21 with 7:52 left to go in the third quarter. And we have another Scranton team. Scranton and Wilkes-Barre both tied at 15 in the third quarter.
So
that is a weird score. I don't know if I've ever seen that one before.
It's definitely a weird one.
All field goals, you think?
Scoregami action,
Yeah,
maybe?
I don't know what's going on with that one. See. Then we have Williamsport trailing State College by a close score of 42-7 in the third quarter. So, hey, man, anything can happen there. And then, of course, tomorrow we have another game. Holy Redeemer playing their season opener against Susquehanna. That one will be at 7 p.m. tomorrow. No, Saturday, October 30th, actually. That one says. So, hey, they actually have a long way to go for that one.
Well in advance, getting the hype up for that game.
Yeah, start advertising that one a little bit in advance. So let's talk about it, man. 10-0, the Warriors trailing. What's really going wrong for them with their running game, because they've been able to get nothing going so far?
It's so tough, when you look at a guy like Paulie Weinrich, who he's built to run that I formation, and obviously
he's not a small guy. That's another thing that needs to be communicated very clearly. We've talked a lot about Randy Pittman and how big he is. Paulie Weinrich is not a small individual either. He looks like a big league running back.
6'1", 190 of pure muscle. We're going to talk about that. Senior running back, Paulie Weinrich. Again, he's an I formation guy, and he proves it. The fact of the matter is, this Moseley front seven, we talked about it all throughout this first half. They've been bottling that up all game. The biggest issue for the Warriors, they're not able to get that momentum. They had a couple on their third drive of the game, had a couple 4-yard, a couple 3-yard runs, which is what you like in the I formation. But outside of that, nothing really working for this Delaware Valley offense.
We'll talk a little bit more about it when we come back. This is Light 1069. You're listening to Warriors football.
Is this like a remix of Gonna Fly Now?
Yes.
Oh, it is. Okay. It is.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the pride of Moseley High School Marching Band under the direction of Doug Gilbar. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I want to remind everybody that immediately following today's game, a presentation of a plaque to the winning team and also plaques to the defensive MVP and the offensive MVP of both schools will be presented in
When
a
did he say he
ceremony
wanted us to come back?
on the field.
Did he give you time for that? Or?
Immediately following
It's
today's
fine.
game. We ask for all to please stick around.
Hits.
Welcome back to Light 1069. You're listening to the Zimmerman and Alger halftime show. Brandon, let's discuss this a little bit further. The penalties, man.
Oh, I mean, you want to talk about laundry? I mean, I had to buy a second laundry basket just to help this out. I mean, I was trying my best. There's not much I could do from up here, but the penalties, especially on the Moseley side, has been absolutely huge. The fans for Moseley not too happy with it, but regardless, they're committing penalties all over the place. That's been a big contributing factor to Delaware Valley being down just 10.
I mean, what do you think the coaches are preaching at halftime to their teams? Because we've not only seen penalties on the field, Brandon, but we've seen those ugly penalties that you don't like to see. We've seen those unsportsmanlike conducts all over the place.
Well, I mean, we saw it in one example with Yanni Barnes for Moseley, getting a stern talking to for a good amount of time on the Moseley sideline. There's not much you tell your team except for, hey, just don't do it. Look, the false starts are going to happen. It's not something you want to see. You want to coach a little bit more discipline on the field. So the false starts are going to happen, though. The holdings are going to happen. But the biggest thing is the unsportsmanlike conducts, those have to stop. And it's on both sides, but Moseley, again, has been the contributor to more of them. And if you're the coaching staff, it's like, hey, just let your play talking. For Moseley, you're up 10-0. Just let it happen. But for Delaware Valley, bring them on. Keep it coming because their offense is built around breaking down the opposing front seven in the second half. That's what an I formation does.
Yeah.
And it's been increasingly more effective. The first quarter, not at all. The second quarter started to get some bigger runs, 4-yard, 5-yard gains by Paulie Weinrich and the bunch. And I think this is where it kind of starts to really shine as we get into this third and fourth quarter. And again, they receive the ball to start the second half. So that we could very well much see that in just a few minutes.
And, we talked about the weather. We talked about the effect that could be having on the game. We've seen it already at play multiple times, especially on the Delaware Valley side where we've seen muff punts, bad snaps, fumbles, and the last fumble, of course, leading directly to a two-score game as they got the 21-yard field goal the Dolphins did right before halftime off of a bad snap. What if anything, can you really do to circumvent those issues that you're having on this field?
Well, I think it's tough. I mean, you really want to start to game plan around that. As a center quarterback, you want that exchange to be a little bit smoother. Again, with the slippery ball, it's going to be a factor if you're Delaware Valley that snap's not going to be perfect. We actually saw it on the field goal by Moseley. The snap actually went to the holder's outside knee before it came around to kick the field goal. So affecting both sides, but again, more detrimental to this Delaware Valley squad. If you're quarterback and center, do you try running more pass plays under center?
See, that I think that might be leading to a bit of a problem.
Exactly.
Like you said, the shotgun, the snaps have not been how they've wanted them to be. Maybe, like you just said, moving under center, completely is going to help, stave off those mistakes that have been made so far because that's where most of them been. I haven't seen really one bad snap happen in the I formation so far in this game. So maybe that's an adjustment.
But the issue with the I formation is just as of right now, it's not working. So it's a possibility that you want to run some play action out of the I formation. It's not a big play machine. Running an I formation is not what you see on the Moseley sideline where they're getting 15 to 20-yard gains. Running either I formation runs or I formation play action, whatever, it's going to get you your 8-yard gains. But that's exactly what you need if you're Delaware Valley. You're down just 10-0. Your offense hasn't been incredible, but it hasn't been terrible by any stretch. It's been really right around where you need it outside of a few key plays. And I think those key plays can come by kind of making the Moseley defense guess out of the I formation.
Well, I guess I'll ask you the last question. What can they do to take the top off of this defense? Because obviously they're going to need to get them with a big play.
I think the big play is going to come on the outside. It's going to be a Jaden Ramirez catch and run. It's going to be a Landon Machado catch and run. It's going to be one of these guys that catches a slant and breaks open down a sideline or is able to bounce it out to the outside. An extension of what you see out of an I formation or short pass offense. I think that is exactly where this offense is going to really break open this Moseley defense by getting that extra yards, getting that yards after the catch that you really want out of a short play offense and out of your wide receivers.
Well, we'll see what they can do about that when we come back. We have about 3.5 minutes left to go before kickoff. We're going to take one more short break here on the Zimmerman and Alger halftime show. We'll be right back. You're listening to Light 106.9. This is Warriors football. Cool. When we come back, we'll just leave right into the game.
Cool. Good first half. It's not bad. We're doing our thing. The vibes are immaculate with the music calls. You need to give Scott Kirk a lesson out here. He was telling me today that they were like really mad at him because at Orangewood Christian, like they're very particular about their music, and he was playing the clean versions of everything. And the volleyball team wanted Taylor Swift, so he played Taylor Swift. And the coaches were like, "What are you doing? This is Taylor. We can't play that." I'm like, "Oh my god, it's Taylor Swift. It's not. It's not. It's not a little.
Travis Scott.
Oh my lord! Can we pop this door open?"
You're listening to 106.9 Warriors football. Alfonso McCree Jr. alongside Brandon Daniels. We're getting ready to kick off the second half here as Delaware Valley is going to start with possession of the football. And you know what? There's one thing that we forgot to mention, Brandon. It's one thing we forgot to mention. You'll never hear Coach Alsmer making any excuses. And I'm not trying to make one for him here, but this has to be a factor. Moseley is from Panama City. All this rain, all this extreme weather that Florida's been receiving all summer, they've practiced in it. They've experienced it. It may not have been the same up in Pennsylvania.
It's definitely not. The weather is completely different. Again, we're driving down the toll roads, a couple hours ago. It's pouring. We get into the turn lane and it's not pouring. And then we get here and it's lightning and then it's not. It's just, this is the type of weather that teams from Florida know exactly what it's like. And again, I know you're not trying to make excuses for this team. Definitely not making excuses for Delaware Valley, but the weather is definitely a factor. And it's proving on both sides. It's just a matter of who's able to be more effective with that weather. And so far, it has been Moseley.
And we haven't seen the turnovers from Moseley. We haven't seen the mistakes that could be caused by wet balls and patchy turf and everything like that. We haven't seen that. So, obviously it is playing some type of factor where these two teams are both coming from.
Yeah, it's definitely a factor. But again, Moseley doing their best to be able to limit mistakes on the offensive side of the ball. And again, they're proving that up 10-0. But if you want to think of a positive for Delaware Valley, this defense has been huge since the first drive of the game. They've only let up 3 points.
Don't forget, fans, Homecoming and Warrior Fest is going to be Saturday, October 8th. Delaware Valley is going to host Wilkes Bar at 4 p.m. that day. Make sure you guys get out there, have some fun, enjoy some great food, some great companionship, fellowship, all that good stuff, and come support your Warriors.
We will be enjoying the second half of this football game tonight, though.
Yes, we will.
As much fun as Warrior Fest does sound, because
Warrior Fest sounds insane.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah.
But we're going to enjoy the next 24 minutes of game time here as the Warriors try to battle back from a 10-point deficit, and they'll receive to start the second half.
100%. We'll see if this Warrior side can get this run game going. I will give them credit on one thing. They haven't abandoned it at all. They've stuck with it, whether it's working or not, and they've tried to make this thing work. It looks like that's going to continue here in the second half. Is they're probably going to start off a little bit run heavy here on their first possession.
I think that's going to be a good thing. Again, I formation is a bruising running style. It's not a, hey, let's use it one play and then, let's not. On the Moseley side, that's really where they use their run offense because they have a guy like Ferdinand Chima who's able to take that burst. But when you have somebody like Paulie Weinrich who is a bruiser, those are the types of plays you want to do. It's a 3-down running back sort of situation. And again, about to start this second half, like you said, a run-heavy start on this first drive to start the second half is what we're expecting to see from the Warriors as they look to try to get some points on the board. Definitely getting their fans involved to try to help them out.
They are. Their fans have been loud and proud all game. Dolphins Nation has showed up in a big way here tonight. And that's just another thing that these Warriors are going to have to combat, and that's okay. They're battle-tested and ready for it.
Jaden Ramirez.
Jaden Ramirez, he has a seam. He's busting through. Oh, my goodness. One man to beat. He's still on his feet, and he's well into Dolphins territory.
You want to talk about a momentum shifter to start the second half. Jaden Ramirez said, hold on, let me take that 10-point lead, and let me try to cut into as best as he can. A huge return as he cuts it up the middle of the field and well into Moseley territory. 12 seconds taken off the clock, and a huge gain to start this one second half. Wow.
That's exactly what the team needed right there. And out 1st and 10. Coming out in the I formation again.
Like we said, you want to start with a run-heavy offense, and they're doing exactly that.
And it is to Weinrich. Oh, it looks like things are working now as Weinrich gets a big gain. That's his longest run of the day.
And the largest run of the game for this Moseley offense. That is where the I formation pays off. You just wait and wait and wait for that hole to go up so they can just push through it. And Weinrich does a huge job doing that one. That's a first down.
Offensive line there. Great blocking. It's their best play of the game right there.
Strong side offensive line doing a great job getting Weinrich that hole. And now 1st and 10 for the Warriors.
That one's handed off to Weinrich as well. Moseley did a little bit better of a job on that one, but still positive yardage there for about 4 yards, 4 or 5.
Weinrich,
it's hard to tell from our vantage point, Brandon, the exact yardage.
It is hard to tell, but Weinrich with a good job at the end of that play, falling forward, actually gets 6 on that play. So fell forward for a good chunk of those yards. Is exactly how you want to do it as an I formation. So 3 plays in a row where it has been a huge step for the Warriors, a huge return on the kickoff, a first down run by Weinrich, and then another bruising one for 6, now 2nd and 4 for the Warriors.
And now going out of the shotgun, but it's still going to be a handoff, and it's to Weinrich. And Weinrich has enough for a first down. Someone's helmet got ripped off there. It's number 48, Kyle Chabak. His helmet came off, but he looks to be just fine. And that's another first down for the Warriors, and now they're pushing the ball into the red zone.
A tale of two halves.
Absolutely, already.
This is the best sequence of offensive plays we've seen all night for the Warriors, and they're doing it at exactly the right time. Just starting the third quarter, now it's already their third first down of the drive.
A handoff to the left side to Weinrich, and Moseley did a good job running east to west there as they get Weinrich in the backfield. So the first negative play, and that'll set up a second down and long.
Jabari Reed coming out from the middle linebacker spot, using his speed to cover that ground. Saw Weinrich bounce to the far sideline to the outside and did a great job sniffing it out to force the 1 yard loss. So going backwards by just a little bit for the Warriors, but no sweat. They've been doing an excellent job running the football so far this drive.
So they're going back in the base I formation with this one. Looks like Moseley got a good jump, throwing off his back foot again, and that one is incomplete to Weinrich.
That's what we were talking about in at halftime. You want to switch it up, have the I formation, run some play action. They tried it to get the little screen to Weinrich, but again, sniffed out well by this Moseley front seven, arguing for, a fumble, but not going to happen. That was a forward pass and an incompletion. It's going to be 3rd down and 11 for Delaware Valley just outside the 10-yard line.
I got to tell you, this Moseley marching band is well trained, just like that Moseley run defense.
Oh, yeah.
Both have been just on point tonight.
Big
Delaware
props.
Valley has had to contest with both of them.
It's like playing against another 11.
Rolling out, the pass to the right is caught! And that one's going to be a 1st down inside the 5.
Jake Brower.
If he would have kept his feet there, he might have been able to just back into the end zone. That was the closest that Delaware Valley's been able to get to the end zone today, and they're right there knocking on the door.
Now, 1st and goal situation for Delaware Valley. It's exactly where you want to be. Jake Brower, a good catch there. I believe he gave himself up inside the 5. Unfortunately, like you said, could have backed his way into the end zone, but you take the yards you can get. You don't need to get greedy. You're having a great drive so far, and now it's 1st and goal.
And they're bringing out the
At
big
2-yard
power
line.
formation here again. The ball is to Weinrich, and he walks into the end zone for a touchdown for Delaware Valley. It's 10-6. Paulie Weinrich, the captain, finally puts the Warriors on the board. They come out in a big way.
And the first score of the season for Delaware Valley comes for their senior captain, Paulie Weinrich. Had a great drive, a couple bruising runs earlier in this one, and then gets the touchdown virtually untouched, pushing it right up that B gap, and just a beautiful run there and a beautiful drive all around, started by that great kickoff return. Bruising runs by Weinrich and the bunch, and then capping it off with the touchdown run, the 2-yarder, to make it a 10-6 game pending the extra point for the Warriors.
And just like that, Delaware Valley is right back into this game. You want to hit this extra point here to make it a 3-point game. The snap is good.
Kick is good.
The kick is good, but
there
there is a flag on the field. Oh, and look, some sportsmanship between the two teams as they're helping each other up. So it looks like they both got their talking tos
Went
from
back
their
to the
coaching
sidelines.
staffs. Cooled down a little bit.
Everybody's like, "Don't do it again." They're sportsmanlike, little handshakes, little hey, no, not bumping each other anymore.
Yeah, looks
to
like
start the
cooler
second
heads
half.
are prevailing here.
That's exactly what's happening here.
The Moseley sideline still as loud as ever. But definitely that score definitely helped quiet a few of the Moseley fans for the Warriors, as that extra point is up and good. It's a 10-7 game.
A bullet extra point there by Delaware Valley. Good nonetheless, 10-7 ball game, Alfonso. We've got ourselves a football game here in Orlando, Florida.
Yes, we do. Now let's go over the Alstomar Clark Insurance Drive summary. We saw a big kickoff return to start things off, putting Delaware Valley right in prime position to do some special things on this drive, and they did just that. The run game working for the first time here today.
Yeah, so it all started by Jaden Ramirez, able to bounce it to the outside on that kick return, got a huge chunk of yards. Paulie Weinrich then does what he does best, just bruises you right down the middle, had a 10-yard gain, then a 6-yard gain, then a 4-yard gain, and then Jake Brower finally getting things going in the short pass game to get inside the 5, and then they punch it in for the score from 2 yards out. Weinrich, the first score of the season for Delaware Valley, and an important one at that. 8:41 left to go in this third quarter, and it's just a 3-point game.
And Weinrich talked about how important it was for this run game to get going, how everything centers around the run game for Delaware Valley, because they're playing the power game. They understand, hey, we might not be able to match the speed of this Moseley side, but that's okay. We're not a speed team right now, at least not today. We're going to use our power to our advantage. And the offensive line, way to show up big on that drive. That was their best drive of the game, their most consistent drive of the game. And they were able to push and create some holes for Weinrich to run through, and he was able to do the rest.
Exactly. 10-7 ball game, 8:41 left to go in this third quarter. Everett Bell for the kickoff for Delaware Valley, punching the bullet of the extra point now to kick it off to Moseley in this
See how
third
deep
quarter.
he can get this one. And this one's a bit of a chip shot. And that one goes to who else?
Randy
Pittman. And he's tackled.
He's got a lot of he's got a little, even the way he catches and starts to stutter and run, it's like a DK Metcalf type thing because he's just got so much. It's almost like he's loading up his power and then just goes with it. Gets a couple yards on the kickoff return out around the 40-yard line, their own 40-yard line, and they'll start this third quarter with what they thought would be a 10-point lead, but now just a 3-point lead with the Warriors capping off with the touchdown to start this one.
An interesting note, I just saw Yanni Barnes, the one who got into the fight in the first half, got a lot of talking tos on the sideline from his coaches, but he was just back in the game on special teams. We'll see how often he's used going forward.
He is back in the middle of the sideline with his teammates, so I think spirits are a little higher. Got the coaching at halftime.
Handoff to Randy Pittman. He's bouncing off of defenders, stiff-arming everybody, and he goes out of bounds on his feet, but he is limping a little bit. That'd be bad news for Moseley there, but it looks like he's able to put some weight on it, and he's coming back out.
Might have just been the tarp on the sideline there that kind of slowed him up a little bit, but it took about 4 or 5 Warrior defenders to just keep pushing him to the outside, got off to the near sideline, and a good job by Jackson Corey to be able to push him out of bounds and no gain.
Looks like he's in some pain walking on the sideline there. He's taking his helmet off, and he's just trying to walk it off, trying to put some weight on it, grabbing himself some water. And it's going to be a penalty again on Moseley. So once again, the penalties killing drives before they even get a chance to get.
Late night laundry is never something you want to do because most of the time after the washing machine cycle, it's just too late. You fall asleep, you forget about it, then there's just mildew. It's just all going to build up.
Then you got to wash it again.
And again,
your electric bill goes up.
Third quarter late night laundry. You get to the fourth quarter, you forget about it. It's all going to build up and it's going to bite you the next day. So I think the penalties just continue to bite Moseley here in this game, and no change in the third quarter as it was in the first half.
A handoff to the left side is to Isaac Paul, and he's dealt with pretty quickly by the Warriors. So that'll turn into 2nd and long.
Matt Camarano also in on that stop as well. Assisted tackle there. Now 2nd and 25 for Moseley. A lot of long 1st and 2nd downs for this Dolphin squad. Something we're getting used to calling out here from the booth. 8 minutes and counting here. And again, 2nd and 25, up just 3. And the penalties continuing to aid Delaware Valley and hurt Moseley at the same time.
Shotgun formation. Handoff is up the middle. Again, this is Isaac Paul breaking free to the left side. He's got burners. One man to beat, but he's tripped up at around the 27-yard line.
Just had Logan Olsomer to beat, and he got tripped up by Olsomer, but a huge gain by Isaac Paul, who stepped in for Ferdinand Chima after he got injured early in this one. And Isaac Paul, we were saying when he's going to break off that run, and he did just that, a huge gain out into Delaware Valley territory.
Now number 40, Caleb Toombs, coming out onto the field to play running back. This is the first that we've seen of him today.
The third back for this Moseley squad to come in. And yeah, I mean, you want to give a little bit of a break to Isaac Paul after he broke that one loose down the near sideline.
It looks like he's getting his hamstring stretched out there on the sideline.
He
was taken down a little bit rough.
And it is tough with this heat. It's going to tighten up your joints a little bit, especially in that hamstring area when you've been running. So it definitely makes sense, but a good gain by Isaac Paul.
Play action pass here. It's a deep pass. It's a jump ball, and it's incomplete. Coverage on the play from Everett Bell on Cree Ross.
Looks like Cree Ross also a little bit shaken up, got his legs tangled when he was going for that ball with Landon Machado in the end zone. He's going to get the clap as he walks off the field. So again, a little bit of the injuries hurting Moseley's most impactful players. Cree Ross almost had the best catch of the season, arguably, for that Moseley squad, but incomplete. 2nd and 10, still in good territory for the Dolphins as they are well into Warrior territory inside the 40-yard line.
I mean, we've seen Moseley be willing to take these long shots down the field. That one was no different as they come out in the shotgun again. A man in motion is number 5, Cameron Keys. He'll get the handoff, and he's tackled pretty quickly.
So Cameron Keys, the defensive leader for this Moseley squad last year with 14 passes defended last year, gets in on offense and tries to do a little bit. 3rd down now coming up for Moseley on no gain for the senior.
6:40 remaining here in the third quarter of play. It's a 10-7 ball game. Moseley on Delaware Valley's side of the ball, of the field, rather.
If I'm Delaware Valley, I just want to be able to have them run the football. You're a little bit deep for a field goal, so just you want to be able to stop the first down at all costs. Minimal game, but it's a shotgun formation for Moseley, so unlikely they run the football.
It's 3rd and 9, 3 receivers to the left, 2 to the right on a 5-wide set. A pass deep is caught. Inside the 10 is Cameron Keys. So he didn't have success on that previous jet sweep play, but he finds success in the seams of the defense.
Ryder Machado tried to get the big hit. Cameron Keys finds the soft spot in that zone and gets a huge first down. Now 1st and goal for Moseley.
So we have a Delaware Valley player down right now, getting stretched out. So looks like Moseley understanding, hey, we got to take the top off of this defense here and open up this passing game. They've done just that, and now they're having big success with it. They almost completed a huge touchdown pass to Cree Ross a couple plays
came
ago.
Down with a big one, but still 1st and goal, and a huge play by Cameron Keys. Again, like you said, didn't get it done on the ground. So next play, you know what? I'm just going to do it through the air, finds the soft spot, and is able to get the first down on that 3rd down and 9 play.
And, you know, that's evidence of a good receiver that can understand how to find soft spots in the zone and exploit those. And a quarterback in Trey Coker who can get that ball to him accurately. That one was right on the money. Yeah, Cameron Keys had to jump for it a little bit, but still, he put it in a great position where only his receiver could get it. And Cameron Keys was able to come down with it.
That's Ryder Machado, who is down on the field for Delaware Valley, getting up and walking off under his own power. So I think just a little winded after trying to deliver that big hit to knock the ball out.
Sometimes there's a price to pay for delivering some punishment, and that's exactly what Ryder just paid right there.
And at the very least, you get the wind knocked out of you, but good to see he's walking off on his own power. So no injury imminent there for Machado, but a 1st and goal situation for Moseley. So this Warriors defense needs to get a stop as much as possible.
Wildcat formation once again. It's Randy Pittman. They had success on this play earlier, and they have success now. It's a touchdown for Moseley. That'll make this game 16-7 with 5:45 remaining in the 3rd quarter.
Randy Pittman's 2nd rushing touchdown today. Had a 4-yard skirt, pretty much untouched earlier in this game to
Same
open
formation,
up the
too.
Same formation. You know it's going to him when you run the Wildcat. And it's just a matter of if you can stop it, and the Warriors could not stop that one. 16-7 ball game. Randy Pittman, his 2nd rushing touchdown today. He had 17 on the ground last season, and he's already picking up 2 in this game. So just another season of commitment here for Randy Pittman on the Wildcat formation.
The extra point is up and good. So it's right back to a 10-point game. You would have thought all the momentum was on the side of the Warriors right there, but Moseley, way to snatch it right back and get themselves back into position to come away with this game with a victory. But Delaware Valley is going to have a chance to respond. But first, before we do that, let's take a look at our drive summary brought to you by Allsmer Clark Insurance. So it's just some huge plays. I mean, let's start off with the Isaac Paul run, where it looked like the drive was about to come to an end. You had a couple of penalties once again, putting them in 2nd and long. Isaac Paul absolutely races to the outside, to the left side, brings them all the way inside the Delaware Valley 30, gets tripped up, messes up his leg a little bit, but he looks like he's going to be okay. But then the offense was able to do the rest with a big pass to Cameron Keys from Trey Coker, and then to cap it off, Randy Pittman runs it into the end zone for the 2nd time tonight out of the same Wildcat formation.
Well, it's every time a running back goes down for this Moseley squad, another one steps up. First, it was Ferdinand Chima, and then steps up Isaac Paul, who gets the big run. Then he comes out, and then Cameron Keys didn't do it on the ground, but did it through the air as the running back. And then, of course, capped off by the ultimate rusher of Randy Pittman, and they make it a 10-point game.
Have you ever heard of a 4-headed monster at the running back position?
I don't know. It's no such thing as a bell cow. Everybody's getting their cake and eating it too. But also, if you're Randy Pittman, technically listed as a wide receiver, kind of a sick name to have Randy and Pittman as your name. Just gives you a boost already.
So this kickoff is taken, and Delaware Valley will start at about the 37-yard line. But going back to the Moseley running game, I mean, it's just plug and play, it seems.
It is plug and play, and it's hard to stop if you are this Warriors defense against the size and the speed. It's just that combination. When you have guys like Chima, Isaac Paul, and Cameron Keys, they've got the speed to bounce to the outside or get involved in the pass game. We saw with all three of those, and then the bruising style of Randy Pittman, who is just bigger than everybody on this Delaware Valley defensive line and the linebacker core. Not much you can do with that. Not much you can do with that. They did really all they could. But again, running this zone defense, you're going to find the soft spots, and you're going to be beaten by speed on the outsides, and that's exactly what happened.
All right, now a shotgun formation for Logan Alsimer at quarterback with the Delaware Valley Warriors, and a huge run right up the middle by Weinrich. Single-handedly trying to take over for this Warriors offense, and he gets the ball into Dolphins territory down near about the 40-yard line. They'll mark him at about the 42.
That is how you flip the script. Delaware Valley, hey, Moseley, you can run the ball to the outside. We're going to run it straight up the middle. We are not afraid of your defensive line. We are not afraid of Randy Pittman or whoever you put there. And Paulie Weinrich pays that one off with a huge run into Delaware Valley territory.
Play action pass, rolling to the left, throwing it deep into the end zone. It is knocked away. What a play there. And it's going to be called pass interference. I'm going to be honest, Brandon. I don't know about that one. I think that was a great play by Isaac Paul from the Moseley Dolphins, diving and breaking up that long, deep pass. I don't understand the flag there.
Far sideline throw. It looked to have been a great play by Isaac Paul as he was able to get his hand in there. Moseley fans definitely agreeing with you, Alfonso. We're going to see where the ref calls this one, if they're going to hold the pass interference or not. But this is definitely a debatable one, as it could be a huge game changer whether or not they put it back at the 41-yard line or they get it all the way inside the 10 for Delaware Valley.
So they are going to call a penalty, but it looks like it's going to be looks like it might be just a penalty from the spot of the ball, not the spot of the foul. So instead of being marked inside the 5-yard line, they will be just outside the 25-yard line.
Marked it around the 26, 27-yard line for Delaware Valley. So spot of the foul call saves Moseley a little bit on that one, but nevertheless.
I don't know about that call, man. I got to be honest. I don't know about that call.
Could have been a little hand checking after the 5 yards, but regardless, a first down for Delaware Valley.
Weinrich again trying to power through the defense, but Moseley's all over it.
A little cheeky there from that Moseley defense. Not only do they stop the tackle there, it's funny, Joshua Franjul just kind of shoved Paulie Weinrich back behind the line of scrimmage. He's like, all right, no, you're not doing this.
Not doing that.
Not now.
See how Paulie Weinrich responds, though, because ever since the second half started, he's been a man on a mission. He's not going to take too kindly to any disrespect on this football field.
Twilight Paulie, you want to call him. Second of action. Definitely put it in some work. 2-yard gain mark there for Weinrich. 2nd and 8 coming up for Delaware Valley.
So we haven't seen Tyler Bird at all on this drive. This has been a drive completely by Logan Alsimer, and another run play that time is stuffed by Moseley.
Just trying to do whatever they can just to be able to run this straight up the middle. They've had a couple breaks, of course, earlier in this drive. Paulie Weinrich did exactly what you want to do out of the halfback dive sort of situation. But that one, not so much, as the hands were able to get on the legs of the running back and they were stopped for just a 2-yard gain. So 3rd and 6 coming up for the Warriors. As at the very least, you want to think they're getting the 3 points out of this, but with 3:40 and counting to go in the third quarter, you want to get as many as you can.
This will be a shotgun formation for Delaware Valley. And it looks like a timeout is taken by the Warriors. This is something Coach Alsimer wants to talk over. Three and a half left to go. 17-7 game. Things seem to be working a lot better for this Delaware Valley offense. What's changed since the first half started?
I think it's just a matter of the effectiveness on the side of the I formation offense, the run offense led by Paulie Weinrich. I think the biggest thing is you didn't really see a lot of breakaway runs. The longest run in the first half was 6 yards. And now you look at the second half, we thought the longest gain was going to be 10, and then it became about 30 plus. So, again, the effectiveness of Paulie Weinrich and this run offense in the second half has gotten them back in this. Again, still a 10-point game, but they are driving down the field with a 3rd and 6 situation.
Ten-point game, shotgun formation. Rolling out to the right is Alsimer. A screen pass back to the left to the tight end. Inside the 10. Kyle Chabak. Oh, but there's some more laundry on the field, Brandon.
I can't buy a third laundry bag for these guys, but I might have to. There's been a lot going on here. Flag on the field here. Still determining which team caused the penalty. But regardless, this could be wasted away, and it is on Delaware Valley. The Moseley fans are relieved that it's not on them.
A sarcastic cheer from the Moseley crowd here.
But backed up is the Warriors on what was a good run or a good pass play on, a good play there by Delaware Valley, able to look back on the weak side of the field on the far sideline to be able to get the catch and run. But the flag puts all of it back. So 3rd and 3 now for Delaware Valley in the I formation.
Power eye, blasting through is Paulie Weinrich. He might have picked that one up, and it looks like he did.
Okay, first down, Paulie Weinrich bruising forward. Not just the I formation, Alfonso. That's some power I situation right there. Able to bust it up through that A gap, and is just able to power through for that first down. Drive continues for the Warriors. As I was about to say, if they don't get that 3rd down, you got to think maybe you go for it on 4th and short. But again, first down, don't got to worry about it. And now they're in the short field situation inside the red zone.
2:45 remaining here in the 3rd quarter. Dolphins swarming the line. It's a play action pass, and it's a catch, but Moseley swarms all over that one. That one was caught by number 44, Justin Kolisnik.
Raiden Bruins for Moseley came flying off the weak side, and a great play by Delaware Valley to get that ball out in the play action. So he felt the rush on the weak side and was able to get that ball out perfectly. Only a 3-yard gain, but avoided disaster with a 5+ yard loss.
Second down and 7 here to go. Yeah, they're bringing this power I formation again. And you know what? It seems to be working. They keep moving forward. As they pick up a few more there, about 3 yards on that one as well.
A few yards at a time, that's all you got to do, especially short field situations. This is what Delaware Valley practices. These inside the 20, this is exactly what you want to do. These are the types of runs that you want to be practicing. .127 and counting here for the Warriors, is down 17-7 in this 3rd quarter. 3rd down and 3 for Delaware Valley. Again, this power formation.
Oh, and more laundry. You know what? Do you have any Tide?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I wasn't prepared for this much. I got the standard detergent that you buy at Walmart. That's about it.
Okay. Balling on a budget. I see. Another flag on Moseley, and that one's going to be an encroachment penalty. So if Moseley isn't able to hang on to win this game, I mean, the thing you can point to is going to be very obvious for them.
I mean, yeah, you got to be a little bit sturdy. You can't put as much in the wash as you are right now.
Paulie Weinrich, he swarmed in the backfield again. So
this defensive line for Moseley is just, at times, they look unstoppable.
They're like a swarm of bees. You know, it's very impressive how quickly they get to the ball, and it's also really impressive how Coach Alsimer has stuck to the run game. He hasn't quit on it.
And we've seen it paid off to start this second half. I mean, in this 3rd quarter, it's been all Paulie Weinrich and this I formation offense that has put them out to first not only score their first touchdown, but in the possibility of getting a second or at least points on the board.
Another handoff. This one taken to the outside. Cutting back to the inside is Ryder Machado with 18 seconds left in the third quarter. It's going to be a third down and short.
Taking this to the end of the third quarter. Both teams just going to take it to the fourth. Now, Delaware Valley Warriors down 10 at the end of the third. Alfonso, 12 minutes to go.
12 minutes to go in this game. A 10-point lead, which could be easily cut in a second to a 3-point lead. But Moseley has been in control for most of this game, and they're looking to maintain that control. You're listening to Light 106.9 Warriors football, brought to you by law firm of Zimmerman and Oliger and Alsimer Clark Insurance. We'll be right back with more Warriors football in the fourth quarter. Minute and a half.
After the game for the presentation on the field.
Sam Darnold got carted off.
Really? Scott's probably crying right now. We might need to check on
You
him.
can also
What
learn
happened
more
to
about
his
KSA events.
He saw ghosts.
Heading to their website.
Looks scary, man.
KSAevents.com. That's
Jeez.
KSA events.
You guys sound great. I've been listening the whole time.
Awesome.
Thank you.
About
Yeah, I've been
KSA.
listening to the radio station feed.
Awesome. Sounds good there, too?
Awesome, man.
Sick.
Awesome.
And if you guys want a copy, I'll have.
Yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
yes, please.
Definitely.
That's- yeah. I was going to ask you about that.
Talk about enough laundry today to really get something in there. You know?
Yeah, I just saw that message. So it was from a while ago, but do it.
Hey, we're ready, Gavin. You're listening to 106.9. While we were away, seems like Delaware Valley and Ryder Machado was able to get into the end zone on the right side. So now this is a 17-13 game with the extra point coming. That was a nice run play to the right side. It was a stretch play to the right side and barely getting the nose of the football over the
A lot of
the
fists
end zone
going
line.
up on the Moseley side.
Oh, man, and another one. Oh, wow, look at that. Is that going to count? A 2-point conversion. Okay, I have to explain to you, ladies and gentlemen, what just happened. They lined up for the extra point. The extra point snap was a bad snap. Again, we've seen that multiple times in this game. The kicker was able to the carrier was able to corral the football, take it to the right side, and throw the ball to somebody. I mean, it was
Jaden Ramirez who was able to come away with the 2-point conversion. And look, you're just playing with what the cards deal you. And look, bad snap turns into a 2-point conversion. And look,
okay, all of a sudden it's a 17-15 game.
It's a 2-point game.
There's been a lot going on. Okay, in
frantic start.
Like 30 seconds. that was insane.
Frantic start to this fourth quarter, and that's heads-up play. Honestly, it's not very coachable. It's just
Now,
it's a
my
football
only
mind.
question about that, though, were any of the offensive linemen moving forward, or were they all blocking backwards? Because if so, maybe that shouldn't have counted, but I don't know. We didn't see it. There's no replay system, so we won't be able to tell you.
Regardless,
but it's a question.
17-15 ball game.
Regardless, it's a 17-15 ball game.
Warriors down just two.
Something interesting to think about there.
Always little nuggets that you can take away. But again, 2-point conversion, now just a 2-point game. So a field goal by Delaware Valley anywhere in this fourth quarter, if Moseley cannot score, will give them the lead.
Absolutely.
So a low-scoring affair here in the slightly sloppy conditions of Freedom High School due to this rain. But both teams doing as best they can to fight through it on the ground.
Now, last time Delaware Valley scored, Moseley came back very fast with a scoring drive of their own.
That is true.
See if the Warriors' defense can hold this time to put them maybe in a position to try to take their first lead of this ball game. And the kick is off. It's a little bit of a lofted squib there. Oh, man, bursting through. My goodness. Okay, that was crazy. You talk about acceleration. You talk about Caleb Toombs right there, who caught that one and then immediately took off as we have a injury on the field, but it looks like it's nothing too serious, thankfully.
So Everett Bell got just a little bit under that on the kickoff, kind of just floated up to Moseley. And again, the acceleration, little burst, got a lot more than you would expect out of that return. So good field positions, Moseley still in their own territory, but right around their own 40-yard line, up to. And again, like you said, the last time that Delaware Valley went down and scored, Moseley came right back and scored again. So this is a huge drive for this Warriors defense with Randy Pittman and the bunch coming back in to try to increase their lead. 11 minutes and 47 seconds to go. A lot has happened in 13 seconds of play in this fourth quarter, but Moseley up 2 in the ball.
1st and 10. Trey Coker has played pretty well today, and so is this man right here, Randy Pittman. Again, I feel like all we've done is say his name here tonight when Moseley has the ball.
Given a lot of touts to Randy Pittman today. But again, Trey Coker playing in just his second start as a full-time starting quarterback this year as a senior. And he's been playing very efficiently, again, recognizing that this is going to be a run-heavy game, doing just that, picking his spots to throw the ball. But he and his team have been working it down the field as best they can. They hold a 2-point lead, so they're doing as well as they can.
Ace shotgun formation. The screen goes to the left side, and it is dropped by Cree Ross. So it'll be 3rd and 5 yards to go.
Good coverage there by the Warriors defense, regardless if it was called or not, would not have been much of a gain because that zone was sitting right on top of Cree Ross.
Absolutely.
So the Warriors sniffed it out, forced the incompletion, so they got a few extra yards off of that one. Now 3rd and 5 coming up for Moseley. Moseley, I believe, does not have a 3-and-out in this game. They have been very efficient in the way that they've put together their offense, despite the excessive use of the washing machine today.
Yes. Going
Isaac
from the
Paul.
shotgun again.
Isaac Paul in the backfield for Moseley.
4 wide receivers, 2 split on both sides. Running back to the right side of Coker, and it's going to be a timeout for the Moseley Dolphins.
Coker did not like what he saw. Was looking over to the sideline pretty much as soon as he got into formation. He's not very happy with what he was seeing. Moseley takes the timeout, so Delaware Valley has an opportunity to really set up their defense in this 3rd and 5 situation. Again, down just 2 with 11 minutes to go.
You have to think this ball is going to go to Randy Pittman on this 3rd down play, right?
Well, you would think so, but again, like they just had Isaac Paul in the backfield on that play before they called the timeout. So it could go to him on a little slant. It could go to him on the inside. They've been very effective in spreading the ball around to a lot of players. Cree Ross has gotten involved. Isaac Paul's gotten involved. Of course, the running backs have been all over the place. Randy Pittman has been doing a good job as well with 2 touchdowns. So I think a lot of options for this Moseley squad. I think the biggest thing is for this Delaware Valley team, you're going to have to be able to sniff out what's coming. You're going to have to at least guess, is it going to be a run or a pass? Because then you can really tailor your zone defense. Who's going to drop back a little bit deeper past that 1st down marker, or are they going to step up to try to stop the run?
Now, they might not be set yet for what it looks like. Okay, never mind. I thought that Moseley had 2 wide receivers lined up on the right side, and it looked like only one corner was that to stop them. It's a run play up the middle, and Delaware Valley makes the stop.
Huge stop by Justin Kalitznik. That's how it's done right there. Being able to just burst through that line and able to get the stop. 4th down and 6, got the tackle for loss, and more importantly, stopped the drive, and now getting the ball back down just 2.
You know, the way that this ball game has gone, how in the world have the Warriors made this a 2-point game? The first half was completely dominated by Moseley.
I mean, this is where you talk about discipline from your coaching staff. Discipline, not as much of playing on the field, but discipline mentality-wise, saying, hey, just stay with it. One play at a time, you're able to just kind of battle back. And a high snap.
And the snap goes over the head of the punter. And Delaware Valley's going to take over just outside the 20-yard line.
So a high snap over the head of the punter. Looks like Aiden Black is down on the field after getting that tackle. but he's up and ready to go. Delaware Valley pounces on the missed opportunity by Moseley to kick the ball away.
What an unbelievable turn of events.
We
What
are
an unbelievable
we are less than
turn
2
of
minutes
events.
into this fourth quarter. What has happened has been a touchdown, a wild 2-point conversion that was supposed to be an extra point, then a 3 and out on a tackle for loss, and then this. The high snap turns into a huge, huge gain for this Delaware Valley offense. They are just outside Moseley's 30-yard line. And now a 2-point game in Moseley territory with an opportunity to take the lead. What have we been witnessing the last few minutes?
Strong I formation.
What else would you think
2
here?
wide receivers to the left, 1 in the slot. Play action. Passing. And caught. Is he in bounds? Yes. What a catch. What a catch by Kalitsnik.
Oh, my
He floated through the air on that one. It looked like he was
gracious.
underwater swimming how long he was in the air.
I mean, went up for the ball. The ball was still floating, so he has to contort his body. He's basically catching it while he's going down on his back. An incredible, incredible play by Kalishnik and a huge first down for Delaware Valley inside the 20-yard line.
Another strong eye. The handoff is to Weinrich. Weinrich pushing forward. Weinrich down just outside the goal line. They are knocking on the door of taking their first lead in this game. This is absolutely
I'm
unbelievable.
still blown away by that catch.
The story of this game makes absolutely no sense when you look at it on
If
paper.
you wrote this book, I think you'd have to go reread it like 3 or 4 times because you're like, what is going on with this game? But regardless, Delaware Valley knocking on the door of a lead for the first time in this game.
Now that power I formation, here it comes again. The handoff. The touchdown! Paulie Weinrich gives the Warriors their first lead of the game. It's 21-17 with the extra point still yet to come. Paulie Weinrich, the captain, he's done it all for this team today. He continues to do it all for them.
Oh my goodness gracious. This is exactly what you want to see from Delaware Valley. I mean, pouncing on the punt, missed opportunity there for Moseley to kick it away. And then the incredible catch by Kalishnik. I'm still blown away by that catch. And then, of course, I mean, Paulie Weinrich doing what he does best, powering through, and he was putting a huge celebration. He was pumped up. Now, 21-17,
Oh, man,
pending
looks
the
like
extra
they're
point.
going for 2.
Power I. I mean, if it's working, you keep going for it.
Roll out. The pass. It is caught.
Oh,
What a catch. What a tiptoe. He had to reach up for that one, and he grabbed it. Unbelievable what has happened in this game.
oh my goodness.
It
Now
is 23-17, Brandon.
It's now a 6-point game. I mean, this team has scored 17 in a row. I mean, it was 17-6, 17-7, and now you look at it, it's 23.
16 straight points.
16 straight points for Delaware Valley, and the 2-point conversion, again, another wild catch. Bobbles it, has to turn around, secures it, tiptoes on the sideline. 2-point conversion is good. They go up 6 on Moseley with under 10 minutes to go. I mean, the last 3-4 minutes of this game has been
Confusing.
I am just confused, but in a good way.
Yes.
If you're Delaware Valley, it doesn't matter if you're confused. You've got points on the board. Your team's got all the momentum. They're hyped. They're ready to go. And you look at the other sideline, Moseley trying to do their best to hype up their team. But, I mean, there's not much you can do. They're all staying on the sideline, hands on the hips. What else are you supposed to do when that happens? But now Delaware Valley, their first lead of the game, 23-17 ball game.
We'd like to thank another one of our sponsors, Action Bikes and Outdoors. 23-17 with 9:47 left to go in this ball game. The Moseley student section trying to get their guys going again. They've played a fantastic ball game, but they do find themselves trailing all of a sudden in a sudden turn of events. It was just 17-7 entering the fourth quarter. 16 unanswered points in the fourth quarter for Delaware Valley has resulted in a game that we didn't recognize for 3 quarters.
And Everett Bell got under that kick a little bit. Another good return by Moseley, just what we saw in the last drive. Another good return off the little kickoff there that got a little under. But again, Moseley, instead of being up, they're now down 6. And like you said, with at the start of the fourth quarter, it was 17-7, and all of a sudden, Delaware Valley has stormed in front, 23-17.
What a way to kick off the football season for Delaware Valley. And, the kickoff to the football season usually means that summer is coming to an end, but that doesn't mean Action Bikes and Outdoors is leaving. You can go there and get all kinds of amazing things.
I mean, a lot of action. If you want to talk about Action Bikes, it's been a lot of action on the Delaware Valley side the last few minutes. And now Moseley trying to get back in this game, now down 6.
Green pass to the right is dropped by Cree Ross. He's dropped his last 2 passes.
Cree Ross has had a little bit of trouble holding on to the football, but again, it has been this Delaware Valley defense that has been right around Cree Ross these last 2 passes, so blame it on him. But also Bradley Coe right there on top of Cree Ross, so call it a catch, and it would have been maybe a 1-yard gain at the very most. So Bradley Coe on the near sideline doing a great job to kind of scare Cree Ross into the incompletion, 2nd and 10 for Moseley across their own 40-yard line.
The handoff. Oh my goodness. When in doubt, hand it to Randy Pittman. Oh my gosh. This man just I'm sorry. I need to see some ID, man. This is a grown man out here playing.
It's a hold your arms up and pray as you fall backwards if you're the Delaware Valley defensive line. Minimal gain though for Randy Pittman despite that. He's looking not 100% though as he walks off to the sideline. I think he's walking a little gingerly on that right leg.
I mean, to kind of explain what Randy Pittman just did, this man got the ball, ran to the inside, and just dipped his entire shoulder, lifted his defender almost off the ground, and fell forward for a couple of more yards. That's the type of stuff you like to see out of a power running back. And he's not listed as a running back, Brandon. He's listed everywhere you look as a tight end and a defensive end, but he's showing he's a jack of all trades. This man has to have some D1 offers coming his way.
You're a grown man, right? I mean, this is scary to think this kid is in high school.
Yeah, I'm not lining up against this guy.
I'm
a grown man with a wife and a kid. I'm not lining up against Randy Pittman.
Yeah, I don't know if you're not doing that. I'm definitely not. We've talked about my. I'm really weight challenged.
Yes,
in comparison
$150
to,
soaking wet.
Yeah, in comparison to Randy Pittman, I'm a little challenged in that regard. But nevertheless, despite the size for Randy Pittman, Delaware Valley forces just a 2-yard gain. It's now 3rd and 8.
Shotgun formation, dropping back to pass is Coker, and it's Pittman catching it again and falling forward yet again. Surprise, surprise. Randy Pittman gets the ball and gets positive yards.
Yeah, surprise, surprise, Randy Pittman doing his thing. There's not much you could do to stop that. It was that quick pass right up the seam, and then Pittman lowering his shoulder to get the extra yard or two. It's tough to stop, if at all. They get the first down. They keep the chains moving now across midfield into Delaware Valley territory around the 48-yard line, plus 48 here for Moseley.
A screen pass. Cree Ross, he catches this one, makes a few moves, and gets himself about a gain of 6 or 7 yards on that play. So a good bounce-back play there for him after 2 straight drops. He figures it out and helps his team.
Jackson Corey for Delaware Valley gave him a little bit more room, so he caught the low pass and was able to kind of skirt around for a good gain. 2nd down and 5 now for Moseley. They're driving down the field again, down 6 with 8:20 and counting in the 4th quarter. Moseley looking to improve to 2-0 this season. Delaware Valley looking to get their first win of the season in their opener.
Pistol formation handoff is to Isaac Paul, and he'll pick up a couple. Not enough for a first down, but enough to put Moseley in a good position here on 3rd down.
This is like, I think we can call this Moseley running back tandem or core. I think it's a Moseley Hydra, 4 heads. If you cut one off, more grow back.
Yeah. That's what seems like it's happening.
Again, beginning of the game, Ferdinand Chima injures his leg a little bit. Then every guy that stepped in has just improved on it.
It's the Wildcat formation again here. Randy Pittman, and he runs. And did he get the first down, though? Depends on the spot of the ball.
Pascal Ventucci.
And it is a first down.
So Pascal Ventucci did his best to try to get Randy Pittman from behind. But again, Randy Pittman in the Wildcat formation pretty much guaranteed a couple of yards at the very least. 1st and 10, drive continuing for Moseley. Again, down 6 with just over 7 minutes to go. This one has all the makings of a thriller in the season opener for Delaware Valley.
Only 7 minutes to go, 23-17. Delaware Valley has found a way to climb back on top Pistol formation, play action, toss right down in the middle to the tight end. Now they're in the red zone, comfortably in the red zone.
Right up the seams there for Moseley. Again, it's the soft zone spots that you see right in the middle of the field around the 10 to 15-yard spot from the line of scrimmage, and that's what's going to bite you in a zone defense, that middle of the field. Again, you see it mostly on the slants and on the ends, but that one right up the seam out of the slot goes to tight end for Moseley, and they are well inside the red zone. On the door here of a goal-to-go opportunity.
Shotgun again. This handoff is again to Isaac Paul. He picks up a few. It's going to be second down.
Trey Coker getting some instructions from the sideline now. 2nd and 7. Right around the 10-yard line. So it was Austin Carter on that catch up the seam for Moseley to get them right on the door here of a goal-to-go opportunity. Of course, they got to get the first down. 2nd and 7.
Oh,
bad
fumble snap. The throw to the end zone. It's knocked away.
That pass was right around the 10-yard line. Randy Pittman was there battling with Bradley Coe. Moseley fans wanting a flag below us.
It looks like they're not going to get one.
They're not going to get the laundry there. Trying to give some back. You know, they tried their best to try to argue to get that back, but now 3rd and 7. With the clock stop, 5:45 to go in this fourth quarter. Moseley down 6. They need a touchdown. First off, before you think about touchdown, you got to think about these 7 yards that you need to pick up. Try to get a chunk of it there with Randy Pittman out of the flat. But again, I know they were thinking on that. Regardless, they're thinking 4-down territory this late in the game.
Well, let me ask you a question. 5:45. You just mentioned 4-down territory, but 5:45 left to go. You're down 6. It's 3rd and 7. If you don't get it here, do you consider maybe kicking the field goal instead?
I'm going to say no. I think this is 4-down territory. You have 2 timeouts to play with. And I think the effectiveness that this Moseley defense has had throughout this entire game, I know the fourth quarter and the second half in general has not gone their way defensively, especially with this front 7 in comparison to the first half. But I still think it's 4-down territory. I still think you can get a stop with 2 timeouts and enough time to be able to get a stop and maybe come back and score a touchdown. But regardless, 3rd down and 7 here in the shotgun formation for Moseley.
A handoff up the middle. Looks like Isaac Paul again.
He's going to be Isaac
And it's
Paul.
going to be a first down for Moseley.
So the 7 yards they pick up now, goal to go for Moseley. A touchdown and an extra point will give them the lead with 5:30 and counting.
So time's still winding down, but it looks like Moseley might be about to take the lead here. They're very close. They're knocking on the door.
Goal to go. They're at the 4-yard line here. 1st and goal for Moseley. Who else but Randy Pittman back there? Barking
Wildcat
orders.
formation again. He takes the snap, trying to push through. And it looks like he stopped short of the goal line.
Whistles blow him short. So 2nd and goal coming up with under 5 minutes to go. Clock still ticking down.
Been a lot of run plays. This
Lots
clock has been moving.
This is exactly what Delaware Valley is thinking. You get a stop if possible, and this game is very well much in your hands. And if you're Moseley, this touchdown is extremely important because of how much Delaware Valley has been running the football. 2nd down and goal at the 1.
2 red zone touchdowns for Pittman out of the Wildcat formation so far. Make it 3. We have a tie game in Orlando, Florida, ladies and gentlemen. It is 23-23. They still need the extra point to take the lead, but what a drive right there. The run just could not be stopped.
I mean, it's Randy Pittman. We've been saying it all game, and it's his 3rd red zone touchdown of the game. And again, he is a punishing force in the Wildcat formation. Very tough to stop. 2-yard rushing touchdown there. And again, this extra point to take the lead for Moseley with 4:19 to go in the fourth quarter.
The kick is up, and it is good. It was nearly blocked there by Delaware Valley, but they could not get all the way to it.
Ryder Machado doing everything he can. Came around on the punt earlier, on the high snap on the punt earlier in this game that resulted for them taking the lead earlier this game, and then tried to block that extra point to keep this game tied, but no regard there. Moseley takes a 24-23 lead, and now Delaware Valley needs to put points on the board to retake their lead. 4:19 to go in the fourth quarter. Alfonso, barn burner shaping up in the second half, especially in this fourth quarter.
I mean, this game is just as good as we expected. It was contrasting styles from the beginning. What we've actually seen is a little bit of styles used from both sides. We've seen the power game from Moseley. We've seen the speed from Delaware Valley. I mean, this is not what we expected coming in. Randy Pittman has been taking over this game with the power run game single-handedly. But then also on the other end, we've had Ryder Machado, Paulie Weinrich taking over with not just power, but speed as well. And that's why we have a 24-23 game.
And with 4:19 to go, I think this is the last realistic chance for Delaware Valley to run their offense the way they want to. If they're going to be a run-first offense with only 4:19 to go, if you don't score here and you get a quick stop, you're not going to have a lot of time to run your I formation offense. This is the last chance where they have a true offensive drive to work with, and a crucial one at that down one with under 5 minutes to go.
It's definitely a chance for them to kill the clock, but first they have to secure this kickoff, and they do just that. Oh, but racing around the right side. Has blockers. It's Jaden Ramirez. And Ramirez is brought down.
Taking it on the hop there. I mean, that's always a tough play. You never know where that football is going to bounce.
But fortunately, on a kickoff, unlike a punt, you can't just let it go. You have to corral it on a kickoff. It's a tough situation, but they ended up on the good side of it.
Did a good job to scoop that up and then burst out to the far sideline for a good game. Now 1st and 10 for Delaware Valley, 4:11 to go in this game.
Before we get started with this drive, just like to remind you that Action Bikes and Outdoors are a full-service bike shop offering comprehensive care and service packages for a broad range of bicycles. Whether it's a 50-year-old bike in need of refurbishing or a brand new one, look, man, they can get the job done. So check them out at actionbikesandoutdoor.com.
You never know what kind of bike you need to get serviced. Sometimes it's your new one, sometimes it's your mom's 50-year-old one. Again, they service all of them. So one of the great sponsors here for Light 106.9. As we have 4:11 to go in this fourth quarter, Delaware Valley down 1 with the ball, down 24-23. This game has gone back and forth. I mean, this has been an incredible fourth quarter. 2 quick touchdowns.
Everything's happening in the fourth quarter.
I know.
Everything's happening in the fourth.
It's crazy. 23 combined points in the fourth quarter, and we've still got 4 and change to go.
You know, it's given Chiefs Titans. I'm just kidding. I won't go that far. But I mean, Chiefs Bills, I meant to say. But what I will say is that, again, these contrasting styles have created for such a competitive game here, and we're really enjoying it. Hope you guys are at home in Pennsylvania as well. So we bring you the last 4 minutes of this game. I formation for Delaware Valley. The handoff is to Weinrich, and he is met immediately. He maybe picks up a yard. But there was really no room for him to run there.
Not much you could do. Tashawn Kyle from Moseley steps in to get the assist on the tackle. And that's been the key for Moseley. If they're going to be able to stop Paulie Weinrich, is going to be to meet him early. Once he breaks through that D-line, it's anybody's game, and Weinrich has been making it his. But again, it's breaking through that first level, and Moseley's done a good job on a lot of parts being able to get him away from bursting to that second level.
Shotgun now. Backing up to pass. Off his back foot yet again. It's caught. So the pass was thrown by Tyler Bird off of his back foot into the hands of Chabak. And he was able to corral it. He kind of fumbled it a little bit, but he was able to corral it before he was touched. He was able to pick up a few yards to put the Warriors in a better situation. But now the Moseley crowd here making some noise, stomping on the bleachers. 3:12 remaining in the game. It's a dead clock right now because the play did end out of bounds.
Both teams retreating to their sidelines with 3:12 to go.
And this is not only an opportunity for the Warriors to potentially score here, but it's also an opportunity for them to kill some clock if they can really get this run game going. They've done it so successfully in this fourth quarter. They really need to have some big plays here on 3rd and 4.
The most important thing is these 4 yards right here.
Shotgun, Tyler Bird rolling to his left, and it's complete, but it will not be enough for a first down. So what do you do here if you're Coach Alsumer? What can you do?
With 2:47 and counting, this is a situation where I think you need to go for it. Jaden Ramirez could not turn it up for.
Oh, wait, that's called a first down.
Called a first
Never
down.
mind, it's called a first down. It looks like he got enough yardage to move the chains.
Jaden Ramirez by mere inches. It's a ball don't lie play, if you want to call it that. Jaden Ramirez getting the few inches he needed to get the first down. 2:30 and counting in the fourth quarter, 1st and 10 at their own 45 is the Warriors.
Bird under center, handoff to Weinrich, who's only able to pick up 1.
2 timeouts.
Weinrich has been trying to be a little shifty out there, change direction here and there, but it's really tough with these field conditions. He hasn't been able to plant his foot and head the other direction.
2 timeouts to go here. Again, Weinrich really just needs one play to break this, not only into Moseley territory, but also into field goal territory. Under 2 minutes to go, still in their own territory.
154. Bird looking to throw, has a seam open, and a targeting penalty is going to be called on Randy Pittman. He lowered the shoulder. It contacted the head of Tyler Bird, who's a little bit shaken up, a little woozy getting to his feet.
You saw Randy Pittman coming across to try to get the stop on Tyler Bird. There's not much you can do there if you are Pittman. Of course, Bird's already starting his slide, but Pittman lowers his shoulder into the head of Tyler Bird. It is called a penalty, and now they are well into Moseley territory.
Not only does that stop the clock, but it gives them 15 extra yards.
And it gives them a first down.
No, they have a pretty reliable kicker. All they need to do is get into field goal range.
You're
they can
looking
get
around
to a position where they can get about 20 yards out for a field goal. We could be looking at a walk-off here.
Looking at least inside the 30-yard line with 1:41 to go. That's where you want to get to. Right now they're sitting outside the 40-ish yard line. They've got a little bit of work to do. However, with 1:41 to go, you can kind of return a little bit to your I formation offense now. Because you have 2 timeouts and clock on your side, they are going to go with that I formation.
Logan Alsumer now in at quarterback. After the injury, a bullet pass is dropped off the hands.
It's a smart play there by Alsumer to get that ball out and to get it low. Anytime you see that ball going chest level on those quick throws, it could get batted. It could bounce off the receiver's chest right through their hands. Get intercepted. So a smart play to say, all right, we have 2 timeouts. We have the clock. We can throw this low. If it's incomplete, no big deal. If it's a catch, then it's a catch. Get some yards, and you either call a timeout or hurry up and keep it going on a 2nd and short. But regardless, incompletion and a smart incompletion from Alsumer now. 2nd and 10, 1:39 to go. Warriors down just 1.
We're coming down to the wire here. One of these teams is going to make a big play, and that's the team that's going to win this game right now. Alsumer, the throw. Aiden Black drops it. So that'll make it 3rd down and 10 now.
It's one of those plays where you kind of think, I need to turn up for more yards before you get the catch. A little bit too worried about what's going to happen after the catch. The focus has to be catching that football. And now a 3rd down and 10 situation with 1:35 to go. This is a question whether or not you want to go for all 10 here, or with 2 timeouts and clock, you work with what you can get and just say, hey, it's a 4-down territory situation.
They're going to go from the shotgun this time. The
35
Moseley
yard
side
line.
making a lot of noise. 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Alsumer, the throw. It is caught. It's short of the first down, but they just gained about 7 yards. That'll set up a 4th and 3.
Going to be inside the 30-yard line, so right around field goal range. So a timeout taken with under 1.5 minutes to go. These are the situations where you have to question whether or not they go for the field goal or try to get the first down and guarantee a closer field goal.
I have to think they go for it here because Coach Alsmer has called a timeout. I don't think we would call a timeout to send his field goal unit out.
Again, offense huddling up around head coach Alsmer, so you got to think that's what they're going for here.
1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2.
Something has to give right now. 1 minute and 23 seconds remaining.
Fourth
Delaware
down
Valley
and 2.
trailing 24-23 to the Moseley Dolphins.
123, fourth down and 2.
The Moseley side making a lot of noise. 4th down and 2. Game on the line. Power I formation. The handoff. It's a first down for the Warriors.
And that's where this I formation has come in. We've been saying it. When is it going to happen? We've seen a few big plays throughout this game. But again, it's the I formation, the bruising running style that breaks down the defense. And it happened at the most important point in the game now. 1:10 and counting to go, first down.
Play action. Deep pass. It's a flag. It's a pass interference on Moseley. And it happened right at the goal line. Delaware Valley about to be in prime position to take this lead.
Just when you think the laundry can't get any bigger, the basket overflows for Moseley. The pass interference called at the 1 yard line. And all of a sudden, instead of thinking field goal to go up by 2,
they're thinking touchdown.
They're thinking touchdown to go up by 6.
And you have to think, they scored this touchdown, they go for 2 to try to make it a 7-point game.
Well, at this point, it depends on how much time is left, how much you trust your defense.
They've been successful twice going for 2 so far in this game.
It's going to be spot of the foul, not at the 1 yard line. They're going to be behind the 10. Regardless, great field position for a field goal for Delaware Valley. But again, spot of the foul. And it's going to be a first down just outside the 10-yard line with 1 minute and 4 seconds remaining.
Shotgun with a split backfield. Alsmer throws, has Aiden Black. Fumbles! It's recovered by Moseley! Aiden Black fumbled the football, and Moseley recovered in the end zone. It's a touchback for the Dolphins. And with 58 seconds left, the Warriors having one timeout. It looks like the Dolphins are going to be able to win this game. A flag thrown on the field.
Most likely for an unsportsmanlike conduct. I saw the ball fly in the air after the fumble was recovered. Aiden Black tried to get the extra little yard to get in the end zone, lowered his shoulder. Unfortunately, not what you want to see if you're Delaware Valley. The ball comes out. Moseley recovers, and with 58 seconds to go,
what a finish this is. What a finish this is. The Dolphins of Moseley High School in firm control of this game. The Warriors will only be able to stop this clock one time.
Just once. And it's not going to be enough with 58 seconds to
58
go.
seconds, not enough time.
It's not going to be enough time. Moseley likely going to kneel this ball down. And what a turn of events this has been for Delaware Valley, a team that was knocking on the door of a win, or at the very least taking the lead here in their season opener. But Moseley High School steals it at the 11th hour, forcing the fumble, and they're able to sneak away with the win. Now 55 and counting. Moseley up by 1. Now no timeouts for Delaware Valley. Head coach Olsemer has said so many times, he's said it throughout the week, that discipline is going to be a huge key for this team as they had their season opener. And Delaware Valley again. Aiden Black trying to turn his shoulder to get the extra yard, forces the fumble. And Moseley's going to come away with this win. Now, no chance for Delaware Valley to stop the clock. And it's going to be Moseley that steals this game basically at the buzzer.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. A play right on the goal line is what decides things. Oh, wow. You know, you see games like this that just come down to the wire. And major props to Delaware Valley for fighting all the way back, taking the lead, coming all the way down the field, 1 inch away, really, from taking the lead, as Aiden Black just couldn't hold on to the ball long enough to get into the end zone. He fought hard to try to score the touchdown to put his team ahead, but Moseley made the play on him. And unfortunately for Delaware Valley, that means they start this season 0-1. Moseley will move to 2-0. It's 24-23. Moseley High School Dolphins defeat the Delaware Valley Warriors. Brandon, what a game that was. Unbelievable.
I mean, we thought for the last 5 minutes of this game that Delaware Valley was going to sneak away with this win. And we thought the way that they started this fourth quarter with 2 early touchdowns within the first 3 minutes, we're like, this team is going to come out with the win. They were able to get the stop. They drive down the field really with ease, with help of that pass interference call to get them just outside the 10. But then at the 11th hour, it is the Moseley defense that comes up with the clutch forced fumble on Captain Aiden Black, and Delaware Valley falls to 0-1 on the 24-23 loss at basically the buzzer. Not the way you want to see it end if you are the Warriors, but again, a tightly contested battle and a hard-fought one. Trusted the way that their offense was going throughout this entire night, trusted the I formation, and it worked up until 58 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. So
what an absolutely wild scene here as the Moseley High School supporters, well-traveled, coming from Panama City.
Very well-traveled.
Obviously.
A quick 8-hour drive.
Yes, quick 8 hours.
A lot of hours in the car is going to get you pretty amped up to watch some football.
Absolutely. So again, 24-23, Delaware Valley falls short in their home opener as they take the loss to Moseley High School in what was an incredible game. One of the most compelling stories I've ever seen play out in a game that I've ever seen live, and absolutely unbelievable. You're listening to Warriors Football on Light 106.9. We'll be back in just a second for some player of the games and a quick game review. So we'll see you then.
And of course, the special flag given to the winner of tonight's game.
You can just give me a minute, and that's good. We'll just talk about. Let's talk about the 2 running backs.
Cool. Yeah, running back battle. Yep.
You know, once we come back from this, this will be our wrap up. We'll just talk about the players real quick and then wrap up. Okay. No.
I'm assuming Randy Pittman. I got to think Randy Pittman is the MVP of this game.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, Alfonso, let's go off the top, just recapping, and then we'll kind of delay the. Let's go off the top recap, kind of delay the player watch. We can go into Pittman and Weinrich.
Okay.
Pittman and Weinrich, but we will save off player of the game.
Welcome back to Light 106.9. You're listening to Warriors Football. Brandon, what a game that was.
Wow. I mean, again, this was a back-and-forth battle. 23 points scored in the fourth quarter. It's not something that you thought you would see. It's crazy because 23 points were scored in the fourth quarter. 23 combined points were scored in the first 3 for both teams. So a wild last 12 minutes, and it ended with an 11th hour victory by Moseley out of Lynn Haven, Florida. Again, this looked like it was all Delaware Valley for most of this fourth quarter. 2 quick touchdowns, and they were driving down the field, and then it was all up to one play.
And we'd be remiss if we didn't give Moseley football some credit and talk about Randy Pittman. Listed as a tight end and defensive end, spent most of this game as the number 1 running back and just absolutely dominated.
He was a bulldozer. It's crazy to be seeing what this guy does on this offense. It's a guy that you build your entire team around. The senior tight end / defensive end, like, played every single position, had 3 touchdowns today, responsible for 21 out of 24 points for this Moseley squad, and the main reason why they came away with this win on the offensive side.
And on the Warriors side, obviously not the start to the season that you'd like to have going 0-1, but they did the same thing last year, and by the end of the season, they were in the state playoffs. So what exactly can they take as far as positives go from this game?
There are a lot of positives in this game. Apart from one fumble at the end of this game, they won it. If you really want to think about it that way, they virtually won this game. I think they did everything that they could on the defensive and offensive side of the ball. Again, Moseley is the squad who played in 6A last year, Class 6A last year, and made it all the way to the regional finals. This is an experienced playoff squad in Moseley, and they did everything that they could to win this game apart from one play. There are a lot of positives. I think, first off, the I formation worked all game. And it was, again, it's a bruising style that is able to go from 2 yards to 3 yards to 4 yards, 10 yards to 30 yards. That's the type of offense that this team possesses, the Warriors do. And I think there are a lot of positives on both sides. They were able to bottle up Moseley to a team that said 42 last week to just 24.
Yep. Well, my question for you to wrap this up, we want to acknowledge our Action Bikes and Outdoor MVP from the Warriors. Who's it going to be for you?
For me, for the Warriors, it's going to be Paulie Weinrich. I think this guy, he played so well today. He was the focal point of this offense. He was the spark plug for this offense. Whenever he had a big run, the offense just kept moving as a team. They were able to mix in the play action because of how important that Paul Weinrich was to this team and how much that Moseley had to focus on him by stacking the box, that they were able to get the play action. So my Action Bikes MVP of this game, Paulie Weinrich for the Warriors.
All right, Brandon. Well, we want to thank you all for spending your night with us here on Light 106.9 Warriors football. For Brandon Daniels, I'm Alfonso McCree Jr. Enjoy the rest of the season, and we'll see you guys next time. Thank you.
We'd like to congratulate both teams, and especially